Did you see that people have theories that the egg that Roger had on the ship hatched into this Tyrannosaurus Rex?
I didn't. You just spoiled me.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I spoiled your next YouTube trip. Yeah, you would have seen all the thumbnails
Yeah.
saying, Roger actually gave birth to this Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Didn't you know? Don't you know? Yeah, that's a I mean, that's interesting. Didn't we see the egg like when Roger left the ship? Or no?
I'm gonna be so honest, dude. I have no clue.
Yeah,
I
I'll double check.
forgot the last time we saw the egg, but it was in the Davy flashback, so it was around.
Yeah,
But
it
we don't know
was.
what happened to the
Oda's
egg. We
been
don't know where it
keeping
ended
it.
up. We don't know if they took it and just laid it to rest somewhere. Did it hatch alongside the journey at the very end? I think it'd be cool if they left it at Laugh Tale, but like you said, I think they maybe just sailed away with it in the end.
Yeah, they had it after Laugh Tale. I remember that much. I just forget if when like Roger left the ship, if it was still there. They left Odin. When did they leave Roger?
I
Oh,
feel
they
like
left Roger
Roger's like,
before. Never mind.
yeah, one of the
Yeah,
first
yeah, yeah. I
ones.
see it.
He's like
Yeah, the
Yorkie,
egg
you
is still
know?
there. Yeah, I guess so.
Hey,
Yeah,
if the egg
the
is
egg
still
is still there.
there, then
Mhm.
there's a chance that our guy, Scopper Gabon, has it, right?
Rayleigh doesn't have it. Scopper probably is the best one to have it after, and ELBAPH is a
Yeah.
great place to hide it, said egg. And this chapter is actually one where that egg is in prominence, considering
I'm telling
what
you,
we got
dude,
revealed at the
like,
end.
it's gonna pop up here in that heaven realm, and it's gonna fly down with the force. And guess what? It's gonna be
I
another ally who's on our side. Because
Yeah,
Emu.
because we
Emu needs all the obstacles in his path here in Elbath.
Yeah, we definitely need more allies. That's what we need. We need more power. I mean, the only reason to have more power though is if like Emu Domi Reversi's Loki, which I feel like concept like spoilers, guys, but I feel like that will literally just make the manga unreadable because of how big Loki will be. Like we won't even be able to see him talk with other characters on the screen. It'll be worse than Zunisha and Momo's conversation. It'll be so ridiculous.
Yeah, like imagine the fight between Emu and Loki. Every time we like get dialogue or see a reaction, we have to like literally cut to a different panel of just them because like they're so big and so small in comparison to one another. It would
Yeah.
definitely be something.
Yeah, not to say that like Oda can't have something this ginormous, but it's something that like in I feel like in other series when it's there, like a Godzilla level creature, it's that's the focal point. So everything surrounds that, like a Jinchuriki type thing. It's like, you know, Kishimoto didn't have the 10 Jinchurikis like out there balls to the wall fighting all at the same time. When he did that, it was like very chill scenes. And then when it was a Jinchuriki, it was a Jinchuriki, and you faced that Jinchuriki, right? Like I don't know about Boruto and the currents. I don't know what they're doing now, but you know, when it comes to these large things, and actually for that matter, Oda and Kishimoto actually addressed having the large monsters, large creatures in their panels, and how significant it is for their paneling, and Oda was complimenting Kishimoto for like how he handled the Jinchuriki. So it is kind of interesting when you figure out logistically how much of a conundrum Oda just put himself and the editors into a
Hey,
little
the
bit.
solution is to add another big gigantic monster but on the opposite team. And maybe we're sleeping on this one, but Emu whips out a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, because we definitely need X Drake to show up and just
Whoa, X Drake.
mog.
X Drake did not have the T Rex model. Remember,
Okay,
he was
okay.
only an Allosaurus, Par.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Sorry, my
Yeah.
bad.
Well, do you not know your
Only
dinosaurs?
that. Allosaurus, was it really the Allosaurus? Because
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know
it's the
that
same
one.
with King,
Not
right?
even.
Everybody thinks he's a pterodactyl because that's like the most popular one, but he's really a pterodon, and it's like, well, close enough.
Wait, isn't Pterodon just like the older brother or some shit? Like it's
Yeah,
just
it's
the
like the same
pterodactyl.
family. It's like Oda just wanted to be a little bit quirky. He didn't want to like, you know, make X Drake the T-Rex. He didn't want to make King the pterodactyl. He's like, well, let's go with like the little brothers or something. Let's spin it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, hey, not even Jurassic Park used the Allosaurus, so
Yeah,
I don't think it's that big of a deal to forget. My guideline, my bar is the Jurassic World series.
Huh. Did you want more dinosaurs in the series at this point? Like would you have loved to see like more dinosaur Zoans? Or do you think we have like the perfect number already with Kaido's crew?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily enough, or like I think we have enough. It's just that we didn't utilize them the way like I would have. Like I feel like right when you have dinosaurs and Oda being such a big like movie buff, like it didn't really play even in the anime. It didn't really feel like, I'm not saying it has to be like Jurassic Park, but that's obviously a huge reference. And like when we get situations like Egghead, where we had like the Who Done It thing, it'd been cool to have like a dinosaur like thriller little moment just to hype up the dinosaurs. But the dinosaurs really didn't get that much. Like page one, probably, yeah, I think page one was the scariest dinosaurs had been in the series. Other than that, it would be
With his
Drake when he
intro.
first, yeah, when both of them, yeah, when they first transformed. But Drake got absolutely mogged by what the Pacifista or Kuzaru, whatever, both of them,
Both
and
of them,
so it
yeah.
didn't really feel that cool. And then when Page One did it, he tanked Sanji, so like that was sick, but that was also like borderline filler, you know. So it's kind of just. Yeah, you know, like that was. I say borderline filler only because that the encompassing scene was fan service. So, you know,
Yeah, I
it
think
is what
right
it
after that he
is.
puts on the raid suit and everybody's like, whoa, oh my god, is that Stealth Blacker?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and
okay,
then
cool.
Nami gets naked in the first part, and then Sanji puts on clothes in the second part. Woo, fan service.
Yeah. I mean,
Now, if they reversed it, that would have been game changing. Sanji losing clothes and Nami doing like a Sailor Moon transformation. That'd be crazy.
yeah. Hey, there's still room. I just thought of something. Since you said that, you know, Oda is a big movie buff, which is true. You know, if you go to the SBSs, he talks about movies like pretty often, or at least back in the day he did, and how it inspired
Hmm.
characters. How would you feel about a Velociraptor devil fruit? But hear me out. It's a reference to Chris Pratt. And in fact, when we go to the Holy Land, there's going to be Saint Pratt, Saint Chris, who has a bunch of slaves who ate different dinosaur Zoan devil fruits.
Chris
Like there's
Pratt
a
is like
god
the.
knight, for example, who's like, "Go, my slaves!" And then there's like 10 people with collars on, and they're all just dinosaurs.
I'm not gonna lie, Chris. I'm not. Chris Pratt has some interesting takes, but I was gonna say he's like the least Celestial Dragon feeling celebrity. Like
Yeah,
even
he's like one of the more normal ones.
his father-in-law would have been pretty cool, you know, like Schwarzenegger, you know, like the Terminator. That would have been, you know what? A celestial dragon that is big on tech would be kind of cool, considering Saturn kind of sucked
No,
on
I was
that
about to say
front.
we had Saturn, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but Saturn didn't have any like mech, you know. He was like a chemist more so than like a.
Uh, agree to disagree.
What do you mean? What mech did he have?
So here's the thing. We talked about this on Egghead, but you are a avid hater of Saint Saturn for some reason. And
Okay,
one of the
and
main
what
things
are
about Saint
you?
Saturn, no, God, no. I hype him up every chance I get. One of the main
Hype
things
him
is
up. He's
that
dead.
for Saint
He's
Saturn,
he, he's
we
dead,
pulled him
son.
out of the Holy Land and put him in Egghead, a territory that he's not familiar with. And what I've been saying is that when we hit Marie Joie, we're going to see his lab and all of his creations, and it's going to be absurd. He's going to have like mechas, his own pacifistas. We're going to see that he is smarter than Vegapunk.
On by what metric?
Life.
W- w-
The artificial intelligence that
Oh,
Saturn was able to create, unparalleled. Oh, how would you feel about this? Saint Saturn's death was a fake out.
Oh, does that make him
Yeah.
only if he split himself up into seven useless ass
Intelligent moons,
moons, because
yes.
Saturn has moons, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And if he had a separate brain, you know what? That would have been sick for Saturn if he had like his own punk records. I'm not gonna lie, I would be open to something like that. If he himself, like the death that Emu caused him, sent him to like force restart back up like to the mother frame that he has back home and hits like the pro like if this is gonna get meme. I was just talking with Fiso about this, but like in the world where Stephen Paul got the translation correct on mother frame being a computer, and you know,
Oh my
and
god.
and and I predicted that they would do that. But I was saying Mother Flame is, if anything, it's a double entendre. It's a pun, and it could mean both. And it could be that they're the Mother Frame is like an AI data center that needs a lot of energy. It's like what we have, and we need like a nuclear power plant, which is the Mother Flame. So it's both. Okay, but what if Vegapunk made the power source and Saturn made the computer? And so he, like, just like how Vegapunk couldn't get it quite perfect, neither could Saturn. But you combine them and you get pretty damn close. And so it might be that, you know, our boy has, and I say our boy not lightly because Sai definitely is glazing the dead character that honestly
Oh,
shouldn't come
dead for
back. But
now. Dead for now.
uh, like I said, I wouldn't be upset if he came back and he had like it was through the means of technology. Like how it wouldn't be an aspo for the godhead of science defense to have a defense made up like on the path of science for his own life. You know, that would be pretty on point. And then maybe that could also justify like you know, because when he was like, "Oh my God, how is Kuma even still here?" Well, I don't know. You show no like knowledge of any science, anything. I don't know how you even oversaw that this was being done in the first place. So if he did do that, then a lot of his words would have more weight to it. And honestly, that would make Vegapunk cooler too. That's what's good. Just to give everyone another playing field here. That's what's good about making villains good. Is that you make the good side also better. That's why we want Holy Knights to be better. That's why we want Dragon to be better. If Dragon sucks
Ooh.
ass and he fights the Holy Knights, then it's like, bro, the everybody's ass. You know, we don't
A good
want
way to look
all
at
ass.
it
Sometimes we need tits.
is Saturn's science is just a different field than Vegapunk's entirely. Like Saturn's science is based on the Void Century tech, and we go to his
Hmm.
lab and we're just gonna see like the most absurd things that don't even make sense to us. You know, like in some series, they'll have. Okay, this doesn't happen super often, but you know, in like old school cartoons, it's like, oh my god, they found like a book of truth. They open it and it's just things that you can't comprehend. That's what Saturn was
Hmm.
working on. So yeah, like he went to Vegapunk's island and he's like, oh, what the hell is this? Because he's just not used to like, you know, caveman toys that Vegapunk's creating. Because he's just so beyond us.
Hey, hey, that'd be a dream come
And
true.
the
All
reason
I'm gonna
why
say.
Saturn lost, it's not because he's weak, but it's because he split himself into 100 different Saturns, and we just fought 1/100th of him. He only sent one of him to Egghead. The other
Yeah,
99 were at home studying and researching and using the powers elsewhere.
right. Yes. Yeah, yeah. That's exactly it, guys. You heard it here. You heard the exclusive drop. Vegapunk, not dead theory started here. You know, me and Sai frequently memed on the people that thought Shaki died and came back to life. Look at us joining the
Yeah.
ranks, joining.
Oh my god, that was such a good theory. Somebody just saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, I think Shaki dies at God Valley, brother. I got some news for you. I got an arc that I think you maybe didn't check out. Maybe you
Yeah,
read it with your
yeah.
eyes closed, but
Maybe
now
you
look at
need to
us.
read.
Yeah, now look
Yeah,
at
look
us,
at we
dude.
joined them.
We
We
joined
joined
them.
them. Yeah, apologies in advance if you're still watching us after we made fun of you a good
Oh,
amount.
you know, I think about that sometimes. Like after we make fun of somebody, they're just watching and they're just, you know, tears in their eyes, and I just feel bad. I don't like making fun of people sometimes, man. I'll admit.
Yeah. That's why we keep it professional. We only make fun of
Yeah.
like the likes of Stephen Paul. You know, he
Stephen
puts
Paul and
himself out
people who
there.
don't understand English, them too.
Listen, like if Steve, how, like realistically, Sai, if Stephen Paul came out right and made fun of us, we would take it on the chin for sure.
I
After
take it on
all
the
we've
chin.
dished out, I
Yeah,
would
we
want to
deserve
hear it.
it.
I would do a react. I'd be like, all right, let's hear what Stephen Paul has to say about me. And then, like I'm sure like 90, like not 90, but like a bunch of times we're just saying some nonsense shit and he could pull out like, can you see these guys? These guys think that recycled Kerr is coming back to the story. Like, all right, you got us,
Yeah, it was
Stephen
like,
Paul.
oh,
You
these
got
guys,
us.
they don't even know what Japanese is. Like if Stephen Paul made fun of us, I'd say tit for tat. That's totally fair. I wouldn't even be mad. Like with all the
Yeah.
things we throw at him, it makes sense. But here's the thing. Just want to say this outright. We've never made any personal attacks. It's solely based
Yeah.
on his bad translations and how he fails to
Yeah.
comprehend the most basic sayings and phrases.
The most we've ever done personally is take away letters from his name after every Demarian
We're demoting him.
Yeah, we went from Teven Paul to like even Paul.
Now it's
Like,
it's just Eve.
yeah. Sorry. We'll give back the letters. We'll give back the letters. My bad.
Yeah, I'll hand it back to you. Sorry, man.
Yeah, my
Uh,
bad.
yeah, dude, it's
Good
so funny.
times.
Oh, speaking of translations, have you heard what they did with the title of this chapter?
Oh yeah, I actually talked about this with a few people. Yeah.
Yeah. So in English, we have no, understanding of this, and it's not even mentioned in the Viz or any other site really. But the title, they changed the way it's written in the Japanese official. So like the OG source.
Oh.
Yeah, it got. Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that part.
Oh, so yes, they changed it from. Sorry, I don't know. Is it kanji? They changed it from one way of spelling to hiragana.
Katakana. It was katakana originally, so they changed it to hiragana.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's fine.
it's
Okay.
more. I don't know the right way to put it. Sorry, guys. Not exactly Japanese here, but apparently it looks like it's written by a kid. Like
Yeah,
it's the way a kid would write it. So people are now
I can
saying
explain
that
this
the
part.
strongest thing most likely refers to love that we see in this chapter, which, that was a big thing,
Yeah.
right? It's either Loki or love. It looks like love is where, the chapter is kind of leaning towards.
Yeah, I can explain this one actually. So
There
Fiso
you go.
came into the stream, and he said that because it was written in katakana. Katakana is how you translate foreign words into Japanese using syllables. So it's a syllabic, like phonetic alphabet. Hiragana is in Japanese. So what happens is when you're learning Japanese, there's kanjis, and kanji's very specific and complex. So kids don't learn that first. They learn well, okay, this part I might be butchering, but they learn hiragana and katakana, and the way they would write it is what Sai is saying, hiragana. And Oda has done that in the past. He's done that with the title. Actually, pull it up. He did that with the title for chapter 1142 and 1147 as well, where it was the thing I'm afraid of and what we're afraid of. So those two ones sounded
Mm.
like they were written by kids as well. And that being said, this one followed suit the same way. So, like Sai was saying, and like Fiso was saying, it's written by a kid, said by a kid, which, unironically, while I was reacting, I got debated because at the very beginning, when I was reading the title, I was like, I made like not predictions. I was like, okay, either we slow down with the chapter or we speed up. Slowing down means that we're priming up to leave ELBAPH and get a world update. But if we speed it up, that means we get Loki, Luffy. And then at that time, I didn't read the title yet, which is so funny because usually I see the title when I pull up TCB, the title's there. And so when I pull it up, I'm not like always like not checking it, but for whatever reason this time I didn't see it, and when I clicked on it and I saw the strongest in the world, which is what they translated at first, the strongest in the world. And they translated it knowing that it was a childish way of saying it, but I think during the reaction, a few that people popped up and they're like, "Oh shit, it probably is motherly love," because in the middle of the chapter, when we got all those kids doing the thing, like someone said it in my thing, and I was like, "Oh my god, this chapter, the strongest thing in the world is love. It's motherly love." And I went on this whole thing, and I was like, "Oh my god, I got so shonen baited, and I thought it was Loki, and then it swapped." And that whole perspective made me think that Loki wasn't going to show up and it was Luffy that was going to catch the kids, which technically did happen, but it was Loki. And then I'm like, oh my god, Loki is the strongest, but like the moms all sacrificed themselves, and Roto, and Ange technically mom-fying here, but yeah, so I didn't know the childish thing then. And then Fiso mentioned the childish thing. I was like, oh yeah, then 100% it's about the mom thing. Which, funny enough, I was telling this to the translators. I was saying that like when they translated the strongest in the world, especially for a One Piece reader and for us in as like a community, you read strongest in the world and you kind of automatically put strongest person or strongest power, and it's like an innate kind of like thing context that we'd have, whereas they in the viz they put strongest thing, which makes it so vague that it could be either or. And I think again, like the way I kind of read it is it's I think it's both, but it's kind of like Loki's or the mom's love is like as powerful as Loki, especially to those kids, like because that's what saved them first, like whether or not they survived the fall or whatever, their moms all saved their the love saved them first, and then Loki came in afterwards, and Loki was doing his Loki thing, but obviously after the fact, they're gonna be like, holy shit, Loki's a monster, which is kind of funny because had any of these kids seen Loki in his form, I would imagine that all of their nightmares would just be Loki instead. But turns out only one kid was afraid of Loki, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Because there was only one Nidhogg.
Yeah, there's only one Nidhogg. But I mean, then again, Loki and that Nidhogg, very different beasts. Nidhogg looks like a. And Loki looks
Punk
better
hazard.
because he's more like a. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
I was gonna
Censored.
Say,
So.
I was gonna say.
Funny enough, we never really tackled this chapter chronologically. We're jumping everywhere, so we're going to get back to what we're good at, and we're going to tackle that very first page par, because that is where our guy, Saint Summers, starts having a little bit of a revelation, right? He says, well, the ship is gone, Sea Cloud is scuffed, can't really stop the arrow. He calls out to Gunko, funny enough, through the Denden Mushi from the looks of it. But Gunko does not respond, which at this point, it kind of is the Great One's fault. Like what is Emu possibly doing to where they can't respond to St. Somers? Is Brook really just pushing Emu back that hard that he can't pick up the phone? Because that's seemingly the case.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get any updates on the Straw Hats other than we know for a fact that Luffy and Loki are not the ones giving the resistance right now, which, like you said, is... I mean, Somers saying that is funny on its own, but it does expose how preoccupied Emu is, where like Somers could like concoct something like that. You know what I mean? Like, all it takes is like one glance over, one tap in telepathy to be like, are they paying attention? But like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like if you cheat on a test, like, you're gonna look at the teacher to see if they're staring at your test. My guy literally, without a second hesitation, was like, oh my god, I could just blame it on them. You know what I mean? That's crazy. And the other part, think about this, guys. Emu can tap into your brain. Like, Emu can like tap into to like see what you're seeing, like basically mind read you and control you. And Somers is this like lax I feel like that in and of itself is a huge thing because normally when you have this kind of like oversight over people, it creates this like, and I talked about this before with like Shanks, like it's crazy, but Shanks was a tier below, but I always loved characters that were able to bypass those like the big brother secret oversight like mind watching kind of thing, the telepathy psychic powers, and still be a spy. Sommer's out here being like, no, emu's busy at the wheel right now. I could do whatever the hell I want, and even more than that, I can gaslight them too, which is crazy. This is crazy to say. I would never.
I'd
I,
be
I
scared,
wouldn't have
man,
the balls.
especially with what just happened to Saturn. I mean, unless our theory about, I mean, your theory about Saint Saturn still being alive is true, it's like, yeah, Sommers, don't poke the bear, brother.
Yeah, the bear might poke back. This is a scary one, bro.
Yeah, like I said, the only
This
way this makes sense is if Saturn and Sommers will still be alive by the end of this arc. Like let's say Emu kills Saint Sommers, and then we go to the Holy Land and we see that Saturn actually has another Saint Sommers in a test tube.
you know what my problem is with that though, and I think that's plausible, right? We just talked about how like Saturn having it on its own, Emu could have their own version of it. And we talked about like Mewtwo, for example. Did we talk about it, or was it me on my own stream? I forget, but Mewtwo in Pokemon, the first movie, he basically cloned the Pokemon and then he just shot them out of test tubes. And he seemingly could have just kept doing that and just overpowered them. But Mewtwo had this thing where it's like, I need to give them despair by making this an equal fight kind of thing and just showing that my control over your biology is better than you and whatever friendship love that you have with these Pokemon, blah blah blah. And so it's like with the way like Emu's interacting with Gunko. Emu doesn't know Gunko's past, anything about Gunko seemingly. I don't even know. Maybe or a Herald, for example, doesn't know about Herald. It's just kind of interesting because Herald is the exception. For me, it's like, bro, we have an example of the world government taking in prisoners and then cloning them. And you didn't do that with Herald. And it's like you did it with Kaido, but you didn't take Kaido's body. You took his fruit. And it's like, but then you took King's body, and it's like, okay, and then you made a bunch of kids. Sure, that I mean, maybe we'll see them aged up too. But like the limiting factor is money. Like the world government has some wacky ass limitations with this stuff. And I'm like, okay, if King is too hard to make, it too expensive, just make a bunch of heralds. Just and the thing is, they had the numbers, but then Kaido bought them. Like I don't even know, bro. I don't know. Like in my opinion, it's like at this moment, if Sommers doesn't have like Conqueror's hockey, then why not take a giant, get a a hockey giant, give them the devil fruit. Surely you have something more powerful than Sommers, right? Like I don't know. It's kind of interesting, but maybe later on we'll see what's so special about Sommers because in all that slander aside, this chapter did give us what Sommers is all about when you start dissecting his character. And I think of all the Holy Knights, and you always lock in, your instincts lock in. This guy delivered this chapter. This guy is so cool. Well, not cool, wrong word, but like good for the chapter. So good for the chapter. I will admit to that.
I also think there's something else which is like very much so underselling. But Luffy, he has never recruited Nakama based on how strong they are. I wish he did personally. You know, I'm sorry, guys. You know, I'm over here playing like a Korean guy. I'm just min-maxing, dude. I'm not even Korean. I would love just nothing but strong fighters in the crew. Very much like Blackbeard. Very much like Kaido even. Only recruit the best of the best. But Luffy doesn't do that. He recruits based off of friendship. How much he likes you. There is a chance that Emu does the same thing. You know, Emu doesn't care that Saint Sommers is weak. He sees Saint Sommers and he's like, yo, that is my homeboy. Yo, Saint Sommers, like, that's my dog, dude. And then Emu, maybe they leave this island And St. Summers is like, hey, great one. You effed up. That's on you, buddy. And Emu's like, you're right, St. Sammy. Ha ha ha. And then they're like throwing back some beers. Like, that is the reality, man. Like, Emu, I bet he's not just like a bad boss. Maybe nowadays he is, cope aside. But I bet during the Void Century, Emu was actually pretty chill.
It's funny, that comparison. I like what you did there. I'm just trying to imagine like a world where, because like you're right, but then also when you think about it, the Straw Hats are the opposite in the sense of like how their teamwork works, where no matter what mess up Luffy does, the crew will always compensate and overcompensate in the reality where they know the shortcomings of their captain, and they'll overcompensate to deal with it so that Luffy doesn't have to worry. And there are times, yeah, like Kaido, right? But that's a situation where they can't do anything against Kaido, right? So that's different. Whereas in this case, it's the opposite, where Sommer's just like, how much blame can I put on my captain? Which again fits what you're saying. It is paralleled. It's just like paralleled, but you're moving in the opposite direction, which kind of makes sense. I want to know, when Luffy, says to Doflamingo, Crocodile, Kaido, whatever, like, don't worry, my crew's got it. I wonder what Emu's version of that is, because we kind of did get that with the Herald thing. It was kind of like, hey, don't worry, you don't got this, to the crew. That was literally what Emu said. We lost our best. It would be like if Luffy lost, I can't even think, Yamato. Like, Yamato died. And Zoro's like, hey, do you want us to go investigate? No, you'll die too. And it's like, sure. That's not even a good example. But like, it would be like Vivi, I guess, like Vivi or whatever. If they actually died, and they got the news, like, would they check it? I think they would check for Vivi over Sabo. But at the same time, like, you look at the parallel with Emu. Emu straight up was just like, yeah, guys, don't worry about this. I'll ignore it, and that means you'll ignore it, which is kind of funny. It's just kind of interesting.
Guess what? Emu cares about his boys. He said, please no, I can't lose more Nakama.
Yeah, and look at what that care's done. I think like the middle ground is that maybe oh my god, the Holy Knights are spoiled, coddled brats, right? So like Luffy forces, like, even Usopp, right? Usopp literally almost left the crew on his own volition because he's like, I'm being left behind. No child left behind. I am the child being left behind. I'm in pre-time skip, and I already feel like this shit's too much for me. And what he stayed, and ultimately by the time skip, he's like, I need to get stronger. The Holy Knights ain't never had that feeling. Emu's never gave him the opportunity to realize, yo, I need to get stronger. God Valley, oh my god, we need to see the post Valley team conference. You know what I mean? Like the locker room talk. Was Emu being like, don't worry, boys, I didn't see anything. That means you're good. I didn't see one shots. I didn't see, and don't worry, I showed up anyways. Whereas like, the Straw Hats version is like, oh man, I lost to Mr. 15. I lost to, I'm just making shit up. But like, it was
I see what you're saying. Yeah, after God Valley, Garling actually has the iconic Zoro moment where he says, I'll never lose again.
And then Emu goes, don't worry, you don't need to win or lose. I got you, baby. That's the difference, right? Luffy ain't never being like that. Luffy's like, yeah, you're right. I need them. I need a cook. I need a musician. I need a swordsman. I need to navigate. Emu's like, I can be everything. I just don't want to look lonely. Yeah, I just don't want to look lonely.
you know, that's sweet, man. I love that. We're cooking up some good headcanon.
Yeah,
we're Emu's best defenders.
Like, to a certain extent, maybe we overestimated the Gorsei's role, because if Emu is a child, right, or a guy or young guy, and the world knew that this young guy ruled the world, would they believe in this guy? They wouldn't. They'd be like, who is this guy? This guy's younger than Stelly. What does he know? Let me put him to this. What's more convincing than 5 of the oldest
Old
dudes
people.
you've ever seen. And not only are they oldest dudes, they stay looking like that for generations. You know what I mean? That's convincing. That is convincing. You have a picture of them from 300 years ago, it's still that guy. That is hella convincing. It might just be the figurehead idea that people were talking about, that Emu just wanted them to be strong enough, so they just gave them like yokai powers that like they have no concept of, and they just don't know what to do with those powers, which is why they suck ass with it. But it's better than nothing, right? You wouldn't
Yeah,
want to replace
and
them too often.
we didn't see it, but after Emu killed Saturn, I saw this on my version, but Emu started crying because he was just so sad.
Um,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
saw that in
He
your
said,
version?
"Sorry, guys, I had to kill Saint Saturn." And then all the
Yeah, I didn't
Gorosei
see that
gathered and
version.
gave Emu like a group hug.
Shit, I didn't see that version. That's crazy.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's okay. I read it for you. You
Thank you,
don't
thank you,
have to
thank you.
read it because I read it.
Gotcha. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Sometimes reading is hard.
It
You know?
happens, dude. But that is
Yeah.
why
It
you need a friend like me here to read for you.
And that is why also you guys have us and Sai, because the more readers the better. The more cooks, as they always say, the more cooks in the kitchen the better. The more kings in the no, but I mean on translation side. Thank God there's more than one translations, because some of these things could have been
Stephen
pretty
Paul.
loopy. Yeah, Stephen Paul hitting us with bangers week after week.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Stephen. We should have like a 5 minute segment every week where we just say thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, a seance, a seance. We look in the mirror, flicker the lights, say it 3 times, spin around. Is the spinning around part of that one? I forget.
I don't know
Let
what
us
you're
know in the
referring
comments.
to.
Bloody Mary? I was just,
Oh, Bloody Mary. No, no, no. Bloody Mary, you just say it in the dark and like a mirror is in front of you.
I thought you flickered the lights too.
No, you're thinking about like Nosferatu.
Oh, I got SpongeBob. My bad.
You got SpongeBob on the mind. Don't worry. SpongeBob is on everybody's mind.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of SpongeBob,
Yes. So that's a really good transition. Speaking of SpongeBob, where the hell are you going with that?
oh, it started with an S, and I was trying to figure out how to do Sommers, but then when you picked it up, I was like, oh, let me
Oh,
just let
oh,
him take it. Sometimes that happens,
he's gonna
Sometimes I'll
save
say
me.
something, yeah, and then you do it. I'm like, oh, thank God. Yeah, I feel like sometimes that happens with you too.
Huge. I'm saved. You're like Usopp. Just whenever Luffy shows up. Oh, thank God. I couldn't do
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
So I got it. So just like SpongeBob, we see that the giants are throwing rabbit punches and hits towards this arrow. Gunko's arrow is not budging. And is this a giant of ELBAPH L? Like, none of these guys are using hockey. No one's really trying to break it. Like, Zoro, I brought this up. You put Zoro
Yeah.
here with all of his swords. Would he be able to cut the arrow?
Oh yeah. I think like Zoro, he would also ask, "Is it okay to cut the kids?" He would also ask that too. But realistically, it was jarring to see that. I think I suspended my belief. Oimo was the main issue. Oimo to me was the main issue. Then I realized he's a grandpa too, and I was like, this is really a problem. And then when we got to skip a little bit, but when we got to Ripley, I was a little like confused. But
We didn't even see
the
her
way
try to cut the arrow. She said, "Oh, Oimo and Kashi can't do it. I guess it's done. I guess the kids
I
are dead."
Sai, can you tell me, is this a Mandela effect? I swear to God, I remember Saul lassoed the kids and successfully at the time pulled him away, or one of them, the last one. Am I not
You're
remembering that correctly?
misremembering that.
Okay, what chapter was that? Because
I don't remember
that
what chapter it
was
was, but I remember Saul tried to lasso them, and then because he moved them, the kids got hurt by the spikes.
so the way. Okay, so actually, I pulled it up perfectly. 11:44. The way I remembered it, and I'm looking at it, he does grab the kid. I got him loose from the line. Now, if we just peel off one at a time, but the reason why he didn't keep going was because Fenrir showed
Fenrir.
up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes
See,
sense.
I don't know how I pulled that number out of my ass. I'm so bad at recent chapter memory, but this panel right here is like from this point on, the kids should not be in danger. And I've harped on it every single time they've attempted. I'm like, look at that. Without hockey, he figured it out. He even acknowledges it like in a positive. I got him loose from the line. The kid is still asleep. The vines are around him, and he does have rope around him. And the reason why he has to let go is because Fenrir gets in between him and the thing. So I think the way I'm rationalizing it is if he doesn't let go, then the kid will get hurt by Fenrir. But in for the line's sake, and this applies to Sommers and Saul and the Giants, is that like it's not that hard to get around Gunko's arrow. It took a giant and a rope. Sommers is out here like, I need to call Gunko to stop this, which no, he doesn't. But I'm not mad at what he like with his capabilities that he thinks he has. He goes, either I let the kids die or I let them loose and the parents get them. If those are his two options, then letting the kids die is the better option for him. But when he's saying, I need to call Gunko to stop this, as if he has no means to do this on his own, that's completely false. He could just make an endless loop. He's riding on a vine serpent. He could use that. He could just lift them up off the ground and they can keep walking. How do I know that? Well, I just saw Saul do that. Like, there's so many ways. And then again, with the Giants, it's like, okay, maybe Saul, maybe this is why he's a teacher at the academy. Maybe this is just this is the bar and I just need to apply. This is the level. They're not passing the SATs. They're not passing the state test. They're not passing the IQ exam either. They're getting room temperature scores, okay? But at least use hockey. What's the point of being the Warriors of What's the point of entering? We're the generation of warriors and then not having hockey. That's some blasphemy, in my opinion. You can't
nasty.
have that. Yeah, you can't have both. You can't be the generation of warriors and then be the hockey list. You can't be Usopp. And I don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's crazy.
Yeah, having no hockey, not attempting to use hockey. And I want to point this out, by the way. Outside of Loki and Harold, we haven't seen any of these other giants use hockey. Oimo, Kashi, no. Dory, Brogy, no. Ripley, no. And it's like, dude, that's absurd, brother. This is a clan of giants here. What do you mean nobody else has used hockey? No wonder why Loki's the strongest.
How is it that when the parents are that if anything, when the kids are at the verge of death, is that not when the hockey bloom happens? Why didn't we just get a flourishing? This should have been a flower shop at that point. You know what I mean? That was the exact moment where Ripley pulls out the hockey, But to me, it's kind of it's a twofold thing because not only is not using hockey there so silly, but the way the world works in One Piece is if something's like supernatural, it's devil fruit 99% of the time. And I'm only saying 99 because now we have magic fully there, and even then most people in the world, 99.9999999% have not even been exposed to that magic from what they even know, right? Some people probably without knowing. But when it comes to devil fruits, the bread and butter, Punk Hazard, they literally were like hockey. Anytime devil fruit, hockey. Like it's straight up. If you think there's a devil fruit, hockey. Like that's as simple as it is. So when they're seeing the vines and they're like, okay, devil fruits, we use hockey. Okay, that's one route. The other route is nothing else worked. Use hockey, and they did neither. And their kid fell off. So it's like I don't know what to do with the Giants right now because one hand, Oda wants us to bring back Oimo and Kashi and see them fighting Saint Venus on Egghead, and on the other hand, it's like only one of them who was off the island can use hockey when he wants to, and the others we kind of have to like. What is Hakoku sovereignty? Is that not hockey? Is all of ELBAPH just like Rio? Like, is that what it is? And they just don't. They're worse than Wano. They don't even know how to use it as armor. They just straight up just use it as projectiles. Like, I don't know. And let me throw out there, it's not like we even found out that the giants are like that much more durable. Apparently, they get stabbed and they take you like years to heal too. Like Gerd is out here being like, "Yep, these guys are out for the entire story." Like, okay, sure, it's kind of it is confusing where we're at with
it
that
is
stuff.
very funny thinking back to like Loki. Like he's not at full power right now. Garrett said it would take what 6 months to heal, so it's like like we have a very severely nerfed Loki here? Question mark.
Does Gerd not know he's probably a mythical Zoan? I just realized that. So that means that she lacks the knowledge that know that mythical Zoans have an insane recovery rate.
That is true. Or I mean, hey, maybe Loki's not awakened, so he doesn't have the insane recovery rate off rip.
He doesn't need to be. It's just Zoan, and then they were like the ancients more, mythicals most. That's kind of like, I think Lucci, or no, was it Kaku? Kaku was saying, or Jabra?
I don't know who said that.
One of them was like,
I remember somebody said it. I don't know who.
Annie's Lobby, definitely. Someone said Zoan fruits because that's when we got the intro for it. But yeah, that in hindsight, it's like, yeah, no, Loki's gonna heal in 5 minutes, guys. And that makes me wonder: did Gerd not know that he has this form? Like,
I think Gerd knows.
Surely, because then it's like when Gerd goes, it's gonna take him months to heal. Hired would be like, are you okay? Gerd, my ship's doctor, seems to be has no knowledge of devil fruits, which I guess is fair since ELBAPH seemingly is sparse of them. But
it's funny, we're laughing at this now, but there's a good chance that come next week, Loki's gonna be like, man, if only I was at full power.
Yeah, he's gonna self-acknowledge. Meanwhile, like we see this guy like one hit his dad in god form. Like, surely Oda's metric, he's now bigger than Zunisha. He's all these things maxed out. The one thing he doesn't have maxed. Oh, that would be crazy. That would be crazy. We find out that this dragon's main weakness is it can't like heal. It just has no immune system.
Oh, we were talking about how Loki's devil fruit is just so broken. There we go. Instead, I'll do you one better. He doesn't just have the ability or lack the ability to heal, but he constantly takes damage.
Okay.
Yeah. We gotta hit him with the balance patch, dude. Like, come next chapter, Loki's gonna say, ooh. Like,
yeah,
he's just constantly in pain. And then Luffy's like, Loki, what is it? Guys. And he's like, it hurts. Get me out of this form.
This form is too big. And then we find out he just can go into his hybrid. Oh, that'd be nuts too. If he can't go into hybrid.
You've heard about this.
It is. What?
Growing pains.
Okay.
Loki has growing pains.
You've heard about this one, Par. You've been on this planet for 30 years. I'm certain you've come across this once.
You know about this one, old man.
Which is so funny because that's not what growing pains refers to. Just by the way, like, it's not like your physical pain from stretching your body. It's not related to growth spurts. Like, you don't just hear. Actually, that is kind of a thing when you hit a growth spurt. Apparently, like, I've never hit a growth spurt like that, but apparently you do feel like a little wonky if it happens like that quickly. So.
I mean, I'm just trying to like imagine how that would like look. Like, imagine telling your parents that you have growing pains. My knee is growing.
Did you have a growth spurt, or did you just progressively grow?
I just progressively grew. So a growth spurt is when you like grow like a foot in a day, right?
It's not necessarily a day. I mean, it's not. like overnight. It's like over a week. Like that. I think that's like the what? Let's look this
Yeah,
up.
but
I'm
I
pretty sure
feel
it's
like
like a
people
week is
wouldn't
the
really
shortest.
notice that though.
A week? Yeah, you'd go to school and then you'd all
Nobody's
of a
like,
sudden be
okay,
tall as
nobody's constantly checking your height saying, oh, hey, John, I see you hit your growth spurt, huh?
Yeah, they are. Growth spurt,
Nobody says
fastest
that,
time.
bro.
Fastest growth spurt ever. I grew 4. Okay,
I
okay.
see your cock gained
So,
an inch. Good one.
I see. Damn, this thing doesn't say how. What is the.
Yeah, it doesn't say
How
how
fast
because
to.
it doesn't. It's not real.
2 to 4 inches in a year during childhood? Bro, I feel like.
2 to 4 inches in a year? Yeah, nobody's gonna notice that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no one's gonna notice that. I feel like I knew a kid who grew like within a semester. I will say that, and it was like 6 inches, and he became taller than the teacher. And then we were like, "Oh shit, he's huge now." I feel like I remember this. Maybe I'm making it up. If you are that guy from my school, raise your hand. Thank you.
Yeah, please
All right,
let
now
us
moving
know.
on.
Par, he needs you for this for this little segment.
Yeah, I keep here like
You're doing wonders.
funny enough, this is I don't want to say it like this because my wife called me out on this, but like people I know in real life, not that I know them like personally like that, but like I've seen them and they're like family friends or something, and their cousin, the people that I know tell them that I do One Piece YouTube. They're like, oh my god, I love One Piece, and like my for example, and one of them is my sister-in-law's cousin. She watches One Piece, and when they said that, like I didn't say anything. My brother found out. I was like, oh my god, my brother, he does the thing. I was just sitting there silently. I was just like, don't bring me up. Stop doing
Oh
this.
yeah,
And
you
then
like tip over your fedora to hide your eyes.
no, I'm just like, and then they're like, oh my god, One Piece, and I'm like, what do you? Because my first thing is, I don't want to spoil you, so I'm like, do you read it? Do you watch it? Like, what it is? What is it? And
I
then
don't want to
I
spoil you,
shit you
kitten.
not, I've known people that started off the live action and gone onto the thing. And you know, I mentioned the alternative where some people I know personally were turned off of One Piece by the live action, but the alternatives also happen. They're like, oh yeah, I saw the live action, I watched like an episode or two, then I just jumped. I will say the people who did that, they for the most part didn't watch the whole live action. I feel like four
They saw
episodes or
one
three
episode and
episodes.
they're like, oh, I'll just go to the manga instead. This is ah.
They started watching it and then they binged it and whatever. And so this person comes up and they're like, um, they're like, oh, I watch your I watch your streams, and I'm like, what? Why? That wasn't my reaction. My mom saw it. My mom was like, "Oh my god, you have a fan." I'm like, "Mom, don't call them that. Stop doing that." And then she was like, "You were so mean to your fan." I was like, "I didn't know if they like why are they even watching me?" And she's like, "What do you mean why are they watching? Because they like it." I was like, "Yeah, but they don't read the manga, so why are they watching me?" And my mom doesn't know the difference. She's like, "Yeah, but they said they watch you." I was like, and then they don't know, so I can't even talk to them or like
Your mom is just
but it was
embarrassing
also
you.
like yeah, it was like in the middle of a party too, so I was like, what am I supposed to do? It was like one of those awkward small talk things, but they were so excited, and I was just like, and I was with my son, so I was like preoccupied, and then all of a sudden I have this like girl come up to me and it's like, I watch you every week. I'm like, why? Oh, and I know her brother, and what turns out I don't think she even watches it. She just loves the merchandise. She buys all the merchandise. And so she
Oh,
watches.
fake fan.
Yeah, well, okay, so I don't know. I don't know. That's what her brother told me. And so I don't know if her brother knows because she's like college or whatever, so maybe she watches with her friends or something. But yeah, I don't know why we went on this tangent, but oh yeah, because I called out that one person that grew 6 inches in a semester. If you're there, let me know. Or if this happened to you, let me know in the comments. I do
Again,
check the
Par
comments.
is very concerned.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I am concerned. We're Wumbo,
Yeah.
Wumbology.
Wombology. We want to know if you're okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it.
So, I got something for you, Par.
Uh
Saint Sommers again.
oh. Okay. Uh huh.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was like again my attempt to like transition back to the chapter. I'm running on fumes, brother. I got like 4 hours of sleep. I'm dying. So he is drooling, thinking about the ways for the kids to die. It's some great stuff. I think we've gotten to the point where everybody is more or less a fan of Saint Somers, just because
Yeah,
he's like so wacky and goofy. And you know, I'm
it's
here for it.
yeah. I mean, it's what we always say. Good villain is good for the story, and that was the issue. The issue was the Holy Knights. If they didn't have power, what did they have? And Somers has enough personality to carry him, enough to into the line, into the spotlight. Definitely enough. Charisma, personality. Oda, in my opinion, this chapter, this sequence with the kids and the moms and the dialogue, and Somers, this is like a masterclass. You could take this apart and teach a class on that part because, like, Somers was inserted, I think, at the perfect time every single time. Every time I was about to cry from like the emotional turmoil, Somers was put in, and it's that real life thing where you hold back the tears and you find the outlet, and that the sadness, the tears, the thing, you find who's responsible, and it all converts, and that conversion is so quick, it's almost irrational, it's uncontrollable, and Oda used that to take even me who railed and memed on this guy every single chapter that he was in, and gave me enough rage to respect him as a character. You know what I mean? And that is phenomenal. And that's not the only thing that Oda did here, but on top of but going back to Summer things, not only that, but even beforehand, when you're going through and you see the parents like struggling to, and without hockey, take off all these things, and then Somers is like, wait, all those parents right at arm's length, unable to touch due to the thorns, and forced to witness their beloved children plummet to their deaths, straight into the face, straight into the tongue out emoji, and you know Oda took his time drawing that. That is also another level to it, because every face Oda did was not only perfectly timed, perfectly executed, but it was perfectly drawn too. And so Somers, Oda, again, if we were talking about the title's emphasis point, it's on the kids. It's on the kids, and you know it by how Oda drew Somers. Oda drew Somers as the counter to the kids and what they're losing, what they hate, what they fear, all those things. Somers is causing it in this chapter, and it helps them realize what they love, or, not help them realize, but, the kids were all like, oh, my parents were cursing me to God for not eating my carrots and stuff like that. And then the other kids were like, yeah, my parents called God because I took my dad's sword and was swinging it around. It's like, yeah, maybe they do need a little divine intervention for that one, but the carrot one's interesting. But all those gripes they had, they realized like it's because they love me. That's what it is. So
It's some sweet stuff.
Odo's in his sauce, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the whole
definitely in his
time, like you
sauce.
said, we just got Saint Somers like drooling, licking his lips, taking off his glasses to get a better picture. It's hilarious, man.
Yeah, yeah. This is the real stuff. This is emotion. Dude, the anime is gonna go nuts. I hope it goes nuts here.
Yeah,
This
we
is
need
what we need.
who's that one animator everybody loves? The one that did like the Gear Fit stuff with Yamato, or Gear Fort stuff with Yamato.
Oh, the lady?
Yeah, the lady. Yeah, we need to bring her in
Yeah.
for this. She needs to animate just
Yeah.
Saint Somers.
I don't know. Maybe this might not be. We need like what is a sadist? We need like someone who's like dark and deep in the sun. Cause she also, you know what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean? Like
get a
we need
dark animator in here. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we need like a light
Sounds
Yagami.
so
We need like
goofy.
a Death Note type of directorship here, where he's just like, I could blame it on Emu, and then we hear the sounds comes on, and he's like, wait a second, all those parents read at the arms like straight into the Death Note sound, into the and then you break that sound effect because you don't want to straight rip on Death Note. You go back to the One Piece Goofy and you hear that. That's oh my god. You need a like the voice actor, the director, all to be in the same room to just slap this shit out because this is what we need. This is what we need from the Holy Knights. And if this is what the Holy Knights are portrayed throughout the entire time they're on screen, then I genuinely think that the anime will have a less negative perception of the Holy Knights. If they sound this evil the entire time, then it's good. But when we're reading it, we can't do that always, right? Like we had that when they were like, "Oh, look at Saul's miserable face as he stabbed." Like we had that during that time. We had that with Killingham and all that stuff. But then after that, it fell off with their powers. But if they sound like this, like when Garling goes up to the mom, and like if it's done with the right delivery, dude, that's gonna be insane. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if he gets one shot at God Valley. The way he did, and then Sommer's coming up to shocking, like if they add a line, it's like, you probably need legs to run, don't you? And then whack, just add some crazy nonsense in there. Boom, we got it. We're back. We're so back. You know?
Yeah, like the anime can really go hard with it. I mean, even the Saul fight, we didn't see that. It was just off screen. We came over, Saul was on the ground. So it's like, dude, imagine if the anime adds in, like, I don't know, they make it a movie. Like it's a straight JJK fight. Yeah.
Yeah. Just relentlessly beating, and then Saul's just like, I gotta protect Robin and Chopper.
Ooh, even better.
Robin's
Give
crying.
every God Knight their own soundtrack.
Dude,
You know how good that would be?
I'm for it. I would. You know what, Toei? You have enough money. You have enough money. Shut up, okay? But if the community GoFunded me, like whatever Toei said needed that to happen, I would put some. I would pitch in. Maybe I would. Okay, I don't have that much money to pitch in, but you know I have a whole ass kid. But I would definitely boost that GoFundMe for sure.
I mean, just think about it. It's crazy because, like, genuinely, so many people would do free work for One Piece if they knew, like, if they made like a theme song and it's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be One Piece. I promise you, so many people would be like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What do you need to buy?
Easily, for sure.
Yeah, like
Agreed.
popular artists
Hard
would do
agree.
it in like Japan, even in America. I bet across the world. Just give every God Knight a theme song. Like have it be rock and roll. Dude, I don't even care. Just something.
Yeah. Hey, I mean the like when I think of my favorite theme song, and I'm not even thinking like that hard or quickly because I'm sure there's other ones, but my favorite one is Cell. Like I love Cell. It's so iconic. Like the sound.
I can't do it perfectly, but yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's so simple, but it's so iconic. It's so unique. It gets you the vibes. And if they just put it, and the thing is, One Piece is so song oriented, sound oriented with music. Like we are able to have a whole musical for a movie with a full ass professional artist. You're telling me we can't throw it back a little bit for the Holy Knights and the Gorosei. Now I imagine we already went past the Gorosei and the Gorosei didn't do that, where they probably had a soundtrack, but like it wasn't just unique to each one of them or even unique to them. But I think that hey, if you're listening out there and you have some kind of pull with the thing, pitch the idea. Maybe you get a promotion. Maybe if they're like, oh, but we don't have enough money. Hey, I'm sure if you hit up some YouTubers, they would not me, but I know a few. I know a few. They would be down for this. They'd
Yeah,
be
not me
down.
either. I have no musical bones in my body.
Yeah. Oh no, I
Is
meant for
mayonnaise
like
an
throwing
instrument?
putting down the money. Yeah. Hey, Patrick was invited still. So was it Patrick that said mayonnaise or was it someone
Yeah,
else?
it
Am I
was
being
Patrick.
fishist?
No,
Ah,
no,
okay,
it
okay,
was
good, good.
Patrick. Is mayonnaise an
Got
instrument? No, Patrick,
perfect.
mayonnaise is not an instrument. Horseradish isn't an
Dude, that was
instrument
good.
either. Hmm,
That was good.
thanks. I watched that clip
That
literally
nasally
last night,
SpongeBob?
so
Yeah, that was a good SpongeBob though,
I thank
you
you.
know?
The
Yeah.
SpongeBob impressionist.
Hey,
It's my one talent
hey,
in life, and I'm
wouldn't
mid
be
at
friends
that.
with you without that.
Yeah. So I will admit I'm a little bit scared because like I feel like we're getting so many Saint Summer shots and reactions this chapter that it kind of leads me to believe that we're not gonna have him for too long. Like, do you think he makes it off this island and he survives till to see next week or something? No,
Here's the problem.
you're shaking your head.
Um,
No.
no, I'm saying it's worse than that. I'm saying that it's uh like previous to this chapter, yeah. I think we were both on the same boat that like the death flags were kind of going up, especially because he destroyed the ship. But I don't think Oda can throw away Sommers anymore. He's too valuable to the Holy Knight group. Like it's like you built him up first. You built him up the strongest. You can't get rid of him now. He is the strongest asset in my opinion. Because like I said before, Gunko has a lot of tax. Gunko has Emu tax right now, and is now being held up by Brook tax because of the Straw Hat backstory. Tai is insane tax. Shamrock and Garling have the same thing with Shanks, and then the other Holy Knights. What do we have? You know what I mean? We don't really have don't Maffy. We don't even know the Yeti's name. The blonde one died. We don't really know. Harold died. So all we're left with is Sommers, really. And then Killingham is there. But Killingham is kind of just, if anything, Killingham feels like the one to die because of how bloated his power is and how background of a character he has been, where he feels like a Sugar. He feels like a Miss Golden Week, where Miss Golden Week's power is stupid strong. And Oda didn't kill them and also didn't get rid of them. But I really don't think that like actually, no. Miss Golden Week is separate. I think Miss Golden Week could come back in the story, show up with Crocodile, and be like, whatever. Because Oda literally did that with the cover story. It was a Miss Golden Week cover story where she broke into prison to free Crocodile, and Crocodile's like, well, shit, you made it here, and I'm sorry to say, I'm gonna stay here. And Miss Golden Week's like, all right, I'll take the rest of the broke works, whatever. It was like so nonchalant. I don't think Miss Golden Week stressed a single moment of it. But Sugar is a character where you don't really want to even bring back. Like, what would be the point of doing that? I don't. On the good people side, it's kind of like sure, but then you're just taking spotlight away from other characters. And then on the bad people side, it's like, yeah, we replaced you with Emu now. Like, so there's no point. So I feel like Killingham is kind of there, where it's like his power is dumb. His power just makes fodder, and the fodder is a variable. Like it's not fun when the fodder you can't even measure where they're at. Like at one part, it's like okay, like Saul can solo a Fenrir, but then the new giant pirates are stopped at it, sort of. But then they could also just run by them. But then they also takes out like half of the village, like one Draugr, and then like it's like bro, and then they needed three of the new giant pirates to throw a roaring nation at one Nika. It's like okay, where did the fodder stop? These aren't Seraphim level, but they're also not like beast pirate level, but they're also not like I don't know what we're doing with them. So killing him and then he can infinitely do them. His power is too bloated. He feels I think the entire death flag for me shifted to him. Even the way he showed up in this chapter too. He's just like, what is that imbecile doing? Don't shit on Sommers anymore. You can't get away with
That's
that.
our boy.
Yeah, you can't call him. What did he say? Did he? What does Sommer think he's doing? It took forever to get those. Wait, did TCB get censored? Oh my god. What is that bastard
Yeah.
Sommers doing? We finally got all those.
They say bastard,
Yeah.
but Viz just gets rid of that.
Hard censor, brother. That's crazy.
I don't think that's the first time. I feel like they say bastard a lot, but Viz never like adds that in. I mean, you gotta remember
Yeah, that's
like the target
interesting.
audience, right? A bunch of like 5-year-olds that read One Piece, so can't have that.
Yeah, me. Me
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you, I
me.
guess.
Actually, just me. So yeah.
Population, us.
Me, no bad words, please. Bastard? You mean the poopy head?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, none of
My
what
mom
the
told me not to
hell,
say
Oda?
this.
I don't you know I read this with my 3-year-old son every week? That's
I
crazy.
had somebody say that once. They're like, "Yeah, I watch your videos with my son. Can you like not say like these sexual innuendos?" And I'm like, "Your son is cut. How old is your son?" I'm not trying to like say anything about parenting, but I feel like kids nowadays are introduced to slurs at a very young age.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even say slurs. I was actually talking about this with my wife recently. I not that I disagreed with her on this part, but she was just like, yeah, I mean, like kids are gonna be introduced with worse stuff than most of the. Oh, it was no, it wasn't this, but it was in context. My son super into the Bad Bunny halftime show,
Yeah.
and so and it's educational for the part where he's learning Spanish from Dora, and I told him that I wanted to watch the Bad Bunny halftime show, so and he was there, and I when they say PG, it's parental guidance. So if you're guiding things, certain things can be you can punch up weight classes. Reasonably, I shouldn't have done that, but it's fine. It's fine. It's a good thing. He's getting musical, he's dancing, whatever, and he's learning Spanish. But my mom came over and she saw that she's like, what? Bad Bunny? And she knows the halftime show. She sees him watching it. And then the girls start dancing. And she's speaking in Bangla too. So like my son can't fully understand it. But she's just like, and I'm translating. She's like, they're not wearing clothes, no pants, no shirt, and they're just dancing. And it's like, yeah, but he's not. My son literally isn't paying attention to that. He's paying attention to Bad Bunny dancing on the roof because that's crazy to him. He's like, what? He's dance. Look, Dad, look, he's dancing on the roof. And then meanwhile, the girls are all just shaking ass in front. And so it was funny because my mom said that, and my wife was just like, they're gonna I mean, yeah, he's too young, sure, but like, at like 9, 10, they're gonna be introduced to that way crazy stuff. They're gonna go to school and their friends are gonna have access to way worse, right? And that's been true even without the internet. So now you imagine with the internet, the important part is the parental guidance. You gotta have the guidance there. So it is kind of funny that people call us out on that, because I said that happened with me too, where a mom she didn't say anything like that. It was literally, and this one I agreed with her. This one I agreed with her. I used to do this thing called a pant check, where
Oh
where
my
if
god.
Oda during Egghead, Oda
I
had a
remember
bunch of
that.
butt shots, and so people and like feet and whatever, and people were calling me and saying like, yo, Par is going crazy. And I stood up on my chair and showed, or I backed up and I did a spin around to him and showed that there was nothing going on. And so I met a family that watched me together, and their daughter was like 12 or something, and his daughter, and the mom was like pulling aside. It's like, the one thing is just like, I had to explain to her what a pant check was. And then I was like, oh God. And I felt bad because I'm like, that is something, it's like she was saying she does parental guidance. She had to, teach the thing. And 12 is old enough where, they do sex ed in school and stuff. So but that one I was like, all right, you know what? I'm not gonna stand on a chair anymore and
No
spin
more
it
pants
around.
check.
That's yeah. That one, yeah, I'll meet you there. That one's fair. That one's fair. But the other stuff, it's like parental guidance. And people are gonna hear crazy stuff in public too. So, you go to a movie theater and you can't censor everything, right? Stuff happens. Stuff happens.
Yeah, I also think it's just one of those things where it's like, if the minute kids have like internet access, they're gonna go wild. Like I remember the shit I saw when I
Yeah.
was like 7 and 8. It's like, guys, I think your kids know more than they let on, but it is what
Yeah.
it
I would
is.
say I would say our like, I mean, this is the nature of it because we grew up with it it coming into existence. So we had access, but we didn't have as much access as it is now. And even
Yeah.
when we do have access, the volume of what's there is a lot. So it's like it nowadays, the way we grew up, we were able to weed through the forest because the forest was just your backyard forest. Now the forest is the Amazon rainforest, and you can get lost and you can get hurt, and that is a very big difference. Where it's like if we could somehow give the level of access that we had on a responsible level, I feel like that'd be better than set full on censor. Because I feel like our generation grew up with a lot more, you know, um, what's the word? Like guardrails because we saw what it looked like to like on the other side of the cliff. Whereas like we're just straight pushing kids off the cliff, or we're straight like don't look at the cliff, don't look, you know. And it's like both are kind of problematic. You have to meet in the middle somewhere, and we kind of naturally grew up that way. But you know, is an interesting thing. I just watched a grandpa play Grand Theft Auto for the first time, and he just started. He just like this first thing was he started beating up like a stripper walks by, and then he's just like, "Hey, young man," and he was like, "Oh," and then he's like, "Whoa, that felt crazy." I'm like, "Yo, this old guy is so like he's like." He got thrown in, you know what I mean? He didn't have the guardrails. He's no different than like a Gen Z
One of
growing
us.
up with the full, yeah. Well, not us, but we had it. We had older brothers and people around us be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't just mindlessly beat the strippers, or that's not cool to do that in real life. It's kind of
Ah,
whereas like now.
let them have their fun.
Yeah. At least it was an old guy that saw it. But that was a funny video. That was a funny. Whereas I saw like an old lady, she was like following all the like stopped at the red light, then like kept going at speed limit. I'm like, what the? This is so crazy. But yeah,
Not playing like a regular human.
yeah. No, straight up, I was like, this isn't real.
Have
They
some
coached
fun.
her.
Kill some strippers or something.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta live a little.
Yeah, live a little bit. Why not? Come on. Speaking of
Break some
living a little
street
bit,
laws. Yeah.
we do have the whole thing where the giants start hugging their kids. And we get nice little flashbacks of each and every kid and the things they did wrong, the things they did to deserve this right here. You already talked about some of them. We got Colin beating kids up, not eating food, swords out. And there's one kid in particular that, I feel like we have to address. And that is Joanna. Because she has no parents. Nobody really cares about her. Some would call her the perfect vessel. And Ange actually showed up to assist her. We see that Ange, just runs over and she hugs her, and we get a little flashback where Ange is like, yeah, I can be like a mother to you. And Joanna's like, you're not my mom. But now she's like, oh, Ange, actually, it's not so bad after all. It's a sweet moment. But I think where people are getting torn is that people are looking at this and they're saying that Ange is good. That Ange is actually innocent, and that all of our slander towards Ange is unjustified. And I feel like, to me, that's actually insane. To think that this actually, saves Ange from any and all criticism. I'm like, guys, like, are we reading the same story?
That's so funny.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, when it comes to villains, even the most heinous of people have somebody they care about. Doflamingo loved his family, for example. And it's like, yeah, like, I feel like Doflamingo would do the same thing for, well, maybe not the same thing, but for like Treble and all the boys. Like Orochimaru, he did like Kabuto to an extent. He'd save Kabuto. Like, bad guys do typically have one person they care about. And for the longest time, we've been talking about Anger Boda. I'm going to be repeating this all week. But when it comes to the Anger Boda parallels with Ange, there was always one missing piece of the puzzle. And it was a daughter. It was a girl. We were missing Hell. We had Jormungandr, we had Fenrir, we had all the nightmare monsters. We were just missing Hell. And here we go. We have her right here. So this spins off to just Ange potentially grooming Joanna into an absolute deviant in the future. So I don't think this saves Ange per se. I think people are jumping the gun a little bit too quickly on this one. And I say we just got to finish ELBAPH first. The best traders in One Piece have always thrown the sent off. York got petrified by a snake, and people are like, oh, she's not the traitor. She got hurt. And then we had Condra, who's in the boiling pot of Odin. It's like, oh, he's not the traitor. He's been with us too long, and he was gonna kill himself. Ange hugging Joanna because she cares for her isn't absurd.
Yeah, no, I also I forget where it was. Is it in the comments on my video? Someone's like, "Hey, we need an apology video." Oh no, I actually, so Jay did a reaction stream yesterday, and so I get a notification, and since it's after my stream, now I can click on it. And so I was like, wait, what? Why is he doing 11? Did he go official, whatever? And so I pop in the chat like I usually do when I, show up in the community. And someone dead ass was like, hey, we need a apology video on behalf of Ange from you inside, don't we? And I was just like, bah! I just like laughed, and I was just like, yeah, maybe you should ask Sai about that apology first, see if he's apologizing or something like that. Like, are we apologizing?
We're
Or
not apologizing.
I didn't say we, but I will say when I read this, I was like, damn, Sai's got some splaining to do. And, you know, like, I like the thing is like Roto's brother thing. It was done kind of like on a flip side where like Roto told us about his little brother, and that's how we kind of found out about the connection there, and Roto ran, right? Johanna, we knew that didn't have parents before, but we didn't know about the Ange side of it till now. And the thing is, it didn't need to be Ange. You know what I mean? Like, it being Ange is kind of like, not that it's not necessary, but what's difference between the other kids having like a parent there versus someone in the group running for Johanna? It could have been any character. For Oda to make it Ange again, and then for it to have the connection to Sai, not only is talking about now, he talked about this before. He literally was like waiting for the moment for some demon spawn to be there. And ironically, Sai was honed in and Johanna was his favorite kid. And again, just to talk on dialogue, masterclass again, because Oda took everything he did, everything he said with the kids, with the all the parent love stuff, and he amplified it. He put a multiplier on it to show you how powerful love is, because it's even when you don't have it, you want it, you miss it, you know what it feels like. And that's what Johanna was literally basically, I don't know how Viz translated it, but she said they're all so lucky they have parents to hug them, which is very different than what Viz said. Viz said, I think I might have liked Viz's translation better. They said it must be nice having parents like these. Yeah, I like that translation better because it's more subtle. Saying they're all so lucky is kind of too forced. The way TCB wrote it was like, it must be nice. Like, it's focusing on herself, right? Like, she's focusing like, damn, like, it must be nice to have parents like these versus they're all so lucky they have parents to hug them, right? And then she has a flashback into how she told Anne she's not her mother, and then Anne shows up, and it's all just to say like, damn, like, you guys are all complaining about your parents, but at least you have parents, right? Like, it's crazy. And again, like I was saying, it didn't need to be Ange. Honestly, Ange showing, I think the thing that Sai said to me, or maybe you didn't even say it, maybe I brought it up. Oh yeah, I think I brought up the this part, which was that like, it was weird because the whole thing last chapter, which was already weird, was that she wasn't supposed to make it in time. That was literally what Jinbei's assessment, like, oh, it's not like she's gonna make it in time. And how do we know that? The kids were already at the harbor, and Jinbei was just like, yeah, she just kind of ran by, and I don't think she's gonna make it there. And so then I was like, that is kind of sus. And then I was like, you know who showed up just now? Killingham. And I was like, yo, Killingham ran the same place, from the same place, and made it here. We didn't see any other updates other than him running, but it's like, Okay, so then is there a possibility that Ange and Killingham met up afterwards and then sprinted the rest of the way? I don't know. But all I'm saying is that last chapter, we got the timeline of like, or was it last chapter? Yeah, it was last chapter. With like Hiredin ran from point A to point B, and that was the furthest point, and he did that in a single chapter. Whereas Ange didn't make it there. We saw that she didn't make it there, yet the other parents did, and the other parents were making a shorter distance run, and she had to run kind of the same distance that Hiredin had to run. Uh, and we have people like actual combatants, like people we trust. Jinbei, who's been like the Conqueror Hockey measurement, the Doriki Conqueror Hockey guy, the merchant. And he was like, yeah, no, she's not making it, bro. She's going too slow. Like, then she shows up, and it's kind of sus. Last chapter was sus. This chapter sus. I don't think it makes it better that it's like, oh, the emotions are getting in the way here. It's like, oh, Johanna has someone to love her, but it's like, yeah, but like, why? Why is Ange that person? I always wonder why Oda made this thing, and it's like, does it stop here? Is it really gonna stop here? Is this something that Oda originally thought of? Right? Have we seen Ange and Johanna ever connecting like that? Or is this like on the fly decision making that Oda did? Like, how can I smooth over? Like, there's this one guy on the internet right now that every single time I put Ange up, he's always like, oh, she's sus. Oh, I gotta throw him off the trail. And Oda wrote this chapter. He's like, I done did it. And then boom, Sai puts up spoiler. Guys, you think that this chapter has me believing that Ange is good? Another thing is coming. And Oda's like, God damn it. God, I can see a version of that happening. Now, am I saying that Ange is completely villainous? No, but when Sai opens his mouth, man, it's pretty convincing.
I'm telling you guys, it's not over. Like, I don't know. Like, it really does feel like one of those moments where, people are just like, oh, it can't be York. I mean, look at her. She's a goober. She was fighting with us. Just wait. Just wait. And the thing is, Ange ended up on Loki's back, right next to Luffy as well. Just wait till Ange actually just goes in, stabs one of them from behind. We were wondering, how will Emu level the playing field? We're either going to get full traitor Ange, or we're going to get Emu Domi Reversing Ange into a massive demon. And imagine this. We're fighting Domi Reversi Ange. She's very powerful. And by the end, they're like, man, we're able to reverse everybody, but Ange won't turn back. Why is it? And then Ange looks at us, me and Par. She takes off her glasses, and she says, I was always a demon.
I just love that it's she looks at us, me and you, and oh God, he's like, I
she
gave you the
breaks the
segue,
fourth
and you're
wall.
just like, I got this part. No, I'm surprised you didn't bring up the simple one, the one that you brought up on stream. She's
one?
on their back, and she has sea stone on them.
Oh yeah, that could be it too. Her glasses are sea stone.
Yeah, I mean, not to fast forward, but like, there's a big weakness that can be exploited pretty easily, which I don't know what to do with that. So when we get there, we'll get there. But the reality is that something needs to happen on the Luffy Loki front, and maybe it is Ange. She's in the best spot to do something, and I don't think that the others, the other giants who were just saved, have any reason. If there's anyone who I'm suspicious of, it is the one that the guy next to me right over here has been saying has been evil off rip, and I've been saying, guys, this is a theory that when Sai is engaged with this, I'm no longer a creator, I'm a viewer, and I look forward to these Ange theories because it's just interesting, because at the end of the day,
how far can a man's coke go?
Well, not just that. I think what everyone who does not believe in your theory or is very opposed to it, I just want to ask you, do you think that Sai's version would make the story worse? I don't think so. I feel like it would make it more interesting. It just like this is a specific one that takes like an element from like like something that's been so highlighted. Ange has been so highlighted, guys. Like, why not make it interesting? Because at this point, in hindsight, let's go back. This is gonna end up being one of those things where, you know, I remember Wano where, um, not to this extent, and not because of Psy. I want to clarify, but it's going to be one of those things where I remember people would look back at Wano and looked at a lot of the world building stuff, and they were very critical and saying like this wasn't necessary, and we could have skipped this. And I get the notion of why a lot more people did it than normal, which is that Wano was so long, but I could see that like if nothing comes out of Ange and ELBAPH continues the way it is, where I'm saying continue the way it is as like the sense of the villains aren't giving us the resistance that we kind of want or expect even, then this is going to be something we look back at. And one of the things people might say, even on mainstream level, is like, even Sai's idea would have been pretty good to implement here, you know? Like, and Sai's not looking for that when he's saying that. It's just, it's not like the raid failing level of thing. It's literally just like, this is a fun idea and it's not dead yet. And honestly, that whole running thing, Oda's so particular about like those details, the maps. Every arc we get a map. And we have when have we seen someone say like they're not gonna make it? And hey guys, I don't want to be like ableist here, but like there's a difference between Ange and Hiredin. Do you think I can think that Hiredin can run faster than Ange? And that's not me being mean, okay? It's just that's just like I don't think even Oda would disagree with me there. And Oda explicitly said she's not gonna make it, and then she makes it. That's kind of insane. Now, if we had it outright that said like I ran on the power of love, like okay, I'll walk past it, but we didn't. And I'm not gonna be silly enough to just be like, yeah, no, she ran faster, like so fast that like flames came out of her foot, like that time Luffy had that, you know? Like, yeah, I don't think so, right?
Kind of crazy,
And I
huh?
feel,
Like faster
yeah,
than Sanji. Think about that for a second. A
yeah,
little bit
yeah.
odd.
It is odd. Like Somers got here on a vine, the other people got here, they were closer. Like you're telling me that Ange is faster than Ripley? No,
That,
stop.
yeah, I don't know, man. Like the more we talk about, the more I'm convinced that she's evil. Like people this chapter, they're like, "Oh, it's done, it's done, it's done." No, it's not, man. Like legitimately, this is what we were waiting for. We
I
were
will
waiting
say,
for Ange to have a hell type character.
yeah, I will say if Jinbei didn't have, or I think it was Jinbei, but if Jinbei didn't have that line about the whole she's not gonna make it there, I might be more on the like leaning on the other side. But like you said, you had other reasons too, and a lot of them were telegraphed, like her name, the associations, and now Johanna, the concept. Like I like that concept enough to want to believe in it. But you throw in that line last chapter, and it's like, guys, like are we just being lied to? Like is she just the fastest on LBAP? We made a big deal about Hired making it there, so why wouldn't I make it a big deal about Ange? We literally talked about the map, and so in order for me to ignore that, then it's like I have to throw away a lot of attention for these maps. Next time I get a map, I'm gonna be like, oh, this shit doesn't matter. If Oda wants a character in a place, he just wants it in a place, and I'm not gonna be that harsh on it, obviously, but when has Oda explicitly countered himself like that? This is an explicit counter. It's not me going at the map. Yeah, no, Andrew isn't gonna make it there. Look at that. She's so big. How is she? I'm not saying that. No, literally, Jinbei said that. Like he didn't say the big part. Okay, I'm just saying that that's like the reasonable thing. But like, Hired went from point A to point B, and Ripley couldn't. Like like that. You have to have me throw out some logic there. That's not suspending belief. That's suspending logic. So, yeah.
Yeah, guys, you heard it here first. Par is the number one believer of the Ange is evil theory.
Or
And
that she's secretly Usain Bolt. Like,
here's the thing too. I think Dax Sake is still on board too.
dude, really? That's a good one. Because
Yeah,
usually he's on
I think
the
he is.
other side of things.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So
Wait, did you like?
I don't think
Did you?
people have really given up. It's still here. It's still thriving. And even if she turns out to be completely innocent, we're still gonna say that she's evil for the memes. I'm not gonna back down. Like, while this is a theory that we're kind of gung ho about, I do want to remind everybody where the theory started. It started off of racism, guys. Like, this did not start with the Killingham nightmares. It started the minute we saw Ange. We saw that she was ugly. We saw that she was a giant. And we automatically assumed she was just like a bad person. So it's not one of those things that can be reasoned with logic. People are like, oh, like, look at this. Look at the facts, Sai. Brother, do you really take Oda as your canon source for information? I don't. We like headcanon here.
I will say two things. One on Sai's defense and one in my defense. My defense is I was sus of Ange before that, which was the line about is God can't get it back up. Like, before we got that context, I was like, this doesn't even make sense. This has to be a fake thing, which it was on Saul's end. But that's when I was like, whoever's saying this is lying to our face. That's what I said. And then we got the reveal, and then I was like, oh, whatever, by Ange. And then Sai came in and is like, oh, she's ugly. And the thing is, like, yeah, Sai's being a little rude there. But when you look at how Oda's art goes, there is a certain element, like, I don't agree with Sai's take on Ida versus Estrid versus in the scope of like, oh, Ida's ugly. Do I know that Estrid Oda drew her to be a model and Ida to look more like, motherly and whatever? Sure. Yeah. I don't think she's ugly, but Oda did that specifically. Oda did that so that, like, you have to look past her beauty. Like, Harold has to look past that. All the people are like, oh my God, like, she's so beautiful. Like, all that stuff. Like, you can't, like, Oda did that for a reason. And the other part of it is Oda does draw the women in a specific template, guys. He's literally said that. He's gone on record for that. And the characters that are a little interesting looking, it's like the main one that I think of is Kokoro, and she was a goddamn mermaid. And that was a reveal at the end of the arc, right? Like, where it's like, that's crazy. What? She's a mermaid? And mermaids split fins? That was our reveal to Fishman. Guys, like, that's how big of a go back to Eni's lobby. Sanji's dream of mermaids and this, that was Kokoro. That's what she looked like. And hey, guys, you guys can be, I don't throw this around too much, but if you're gonna go and say Kokoro is good looking, that's virtue signaling. I'm sorry, like, that's what that would be. Oda did that on purpose. And then he threw it on your head. And if you miss the purposeness of it, you're missing what Oda's doing. And I would argue that, hey, Oda, whether or not Oda does anything with Ange here, I think Oda's playing off those same things. He did that with Kokoro. He's doing that, again, Sai brought up Mother Caramel. There's, outside of visuals, the parallels there of an insert character, which we don't really have a backstory of, that's put into ELBAPH, that is in charge of kids, that is disconnected from the leadership, that is thrown into prominence, and then boom, Mother Caramel was the most heinous person. She would have been on the Epstein list, guys. She would have been Ghislaine Maxwell, like, straight up, bro. Like, that's what that is. And you can't tell me that there aren't parallels to Ange right now. And I would go back to our last podcast and talk about, like, I threw out the idea that she would be the perfect liaison. Like, all the kids now see that, like, she is motherly. Not only is she motherly, she's a teacher. The only two that is Ripley and her. And so, the question mark is, does Ripley and Ange go? That would be a crazy dynamic if Ange and Ripley, in the hypothetical that the kids are taken to the Holy Land, which I kind of think just happens. Like, that's what happened on Egghead. The things that were the objectives got taken. That's what it was. I know the ship is gone, but I think that's literally what Oda is trying to be like. See, the kids are safe now. Nope, they're just gonna be taken anyways. Like, and hey, if Loki could turn to a giant island level dragon, I'm certain Emu can conjure up something like, yeah, you guys. I'm here, guys. You guys don't need a boat anymore. Are you stupid? Like, I feel like that's straight up with Emu. Thou does not need this peon's boat. And then Emu just goes and just spawns out a boat. Didn't Emu spawn guns? Like,
Yeah, Emu spawned a double barrel shotgun. As
yeah,
crazy as
I'm
that
certain
sounds.
we might see that the Oro Jackson's inside that, guys. Like, I don't know. I don't know, guys. Like, we might find out that Emu repoed that. So, if we're worried about that, Emu's here, guys. When in doubt, Emu it out. That's what Sommers did. That's what Sommers did. Why not? Why don't we do that? Right? I don't think that that's too wrong. I don't think that's weird.
No, not
But
at
yeah,
all. So, all
yeah.
that to say, but Ange is still evil. The agenda's still on. This chapter, people think that I nuked it, but it actually just moved the needle in my favor.
Okay, I don't know about that, but you can. Okay, guys, this is where we draw the size out here. Like, the winds are blowing in my
They
direction, and it's
are.
like, there's no wind, Sai. I don't like.
No, I
It's
told you we were looking for hell. We got it, man. I
we're
don't know.
we're in a library. There's no wind. There's barely AC. Sai's like, you know what, guys? I hear the drums of liberation right now. It's librarian's like, shh. Like, it's so funny. That's so
Did you guys want a
good.
winner or a loser? I don't give up.
Yeah, my log pose has tracked on to the next island, guys. Wait till next time Anne shows up. She'll be evil, trust me. Oh god.
That's
Sai's an
gonna
anime
happen.
character. Sai's straight up an anime character.
Shut up. Let's see here. So after we got the Ange debacle of her just being, oh yeah, I saw somebody had a good theory about this. Well, one more thing. They said that Ange is actually holding on to Joanna so that Joanna would fall down quicker and die faster. You know how like Rock Lee was doing the yellow lotus attack where like he wraps onto you and then he just spins in the air and then he like pile drives you to the ground. People are saying Ange is doing that to Joanna.
Dude, who said, is that in a comment?
Yeah,
Where
it
did
was
they
a
say this?
comment. And I thought
You
about
need
that
to
too, and I was like, oh, that's fire. I love that somebody's on the same wavelength as me. They're also just deranged.
dude, you
You
need to
know,
pin that one.
I've turned the Ange, disbelievers into Ange haters. Like, even if the theory is false, people just hate Ange now. And I love it. It's
Dude,
just a
that's
mass
so
hate
funny.
campaign against a fictional character, mind you, right? Nobody's feelings
Yeah.
are getting hurt here, so I don't feel bad about this one. Fuck Ange. All the homies hate her.
Dude, it's just so funny that, like, I feel like if you didn't exist, we wouldn't be talking about Ange like this. We would be talking about Ange, but it'd be done here. I think it would be, I think if I were to do the what if Psy did not exist? Would there be someone with Psy's humor? No, I don't think so. Now, would there be someone carrying the flame like this? No. And when would it have stopped? I honestly think it would have stopped with the library thing. And this moment, it would have been like, oh no, she's just a good angel thing. I genuinely think that without you, there wouldn't be, like, I had people in my stream again, like they're straight up like, now I didn't gauge it, but they were saying like, oh my god, size, faith size, this size, that. Some of it was about the Holy Knights, but I didn't, because they weren't giving me the spoilers, but now I understand why there's so much side talk at the beginning of the stream is because Anne shows up, which, the now it's, hey guys, careful with saying that because now I know. Now I know if you guys are hyping up Psy on a chapter reaction, it's either a Holy Knight or it's Ange.
Or
And
Barbell.
all right, all right. I think I'll know if Barbell's on the horizon. If Barbell surprises us, if
Dude,
Barbell
I still
gives,
think Barbell is gonna be a lodestar. It's gonna happen.
you know what? Can people clip these things? Because when we get to those points and it doesn't happen, so it's like, Par, I love when you had that theory that Barbell is at loads. I'm leaning, the schizophrenia is coming close nowadays. I need people on my side a little bit. Sai out here, Barbell on Lodestar official. That's crazy. Not even the man marked by flames. Or are you saying he is the man marked by
I'm
flames?
saying he is, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's a little different. Okay,
Yeah,
you're
come on,
backing
Bar.
it up a little bit.
You
So
gotta
okay,
you gotta remember the theories.
I'll put the bridge for you. You're saying that the man marked by flames will be on Lodestar, and separately, Barbell is probably the highest candidate for man marked by flames for you.
Yeah. He's the only
All
candidate.
right. And I just want to throw out there, guys, my candidate before Barbell was even existed looked a hell of a lot like Barbell. So maybe I was onto something. All I'm saying,
Yeah, maybe I'm
if
cooking
Oda
with
pulls out,
fire.
maybe if Barbell is the guy, then my theory might not be wrong. I just chose the wrong fishman. But hey, that's just a theory.
A
So
par theory,
yeah,
as they say.
you guys know how it goes.
So Roto jumps off to, I like that one where he's like, hey, you're going to embarrass me. And then Roto's like, I'll try to hide. And then he comes in, he's like, big brother Roto. Sommers is laughing. Yeah. He's eating it up. I like Sommers' Thorn Dragon. I wish we saw more of it.
Is it a dragon or is it like a serpent? Because we get a dragon in this chapter.
What's the difference?
Serpent doesn't really have wings or legs. Does this have legs? I think it just slithers around.
You know, I've seen some people calling dragons serpents.
I think they're stupid.
Here, I'll ask Google. Yes, dragon is considered a type of serpent.
Wait, is that? I guess that way because dragon is more limiting, but like,
yeah,
you said this is a dragon.
All dragons are serpents, but not all serpents are dragons.
Which is what I'm saying. You call this a dragon. I don't think this is a dragon. I think this is a serpent.
But I also said that in your neck of the woods, people would consider this a dragon.
No, they wouldn't. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they would.
No,
your people, yeah.
Our neck of the woods had serpents, bro. We're the serpents.
Yeah,
those weren't dragons. Those aren't dragons, and that's not even my neck of the woods. I just had to be racist to meet you there. All right, we weren't dragon fluting. Okay, that's snake fluting.
Yeah,
okay?
Do you want to see the dragonfly? And then here comes a snake out of a basket.
I like how Sai says in my neck, bro, you're out here shitting on Eastern dragons. Like, they're the serpents compared to the Western dragons, if we're being for real.
Yeah, and guess what? I don't like Eastern dragons, man. Like, I don't.
Yeah, you're still calling them. That's what it is. You call those dragons when really they're serpents because they don't got wings. Yikes. That's how you know Sai was indoctrinated to he got that Asian genealogy, the eugenics kicking in.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, just Eastern dragons are just so flimsy, man. I feel like we need to breed an Eastern and Western dragon together and see what happens. What comes out?
Eastern and Western dragon? What comes? Oh.
Yeah, like if they just had sex and had like a baby.
It would. Not Shenron. The thing is, like, Shenron and like Rayquaza, they get a pass because they're just like cool looking. But like, I will say, like,
arguable
spoilers, but like Loki versus Kaido. There's not that, like, Kaido and Momo don't feel like Shenron and Rayquaza, and at least Rayquaza is a space dragon, not like just flying willy-nilly per se. Though he does in our atmosphere, to be fair. But that being said, I don't know what you get. You get a dragon still, because dragon plus serpent thingy still, both have arms. So
yeah.
Oh wait, you get a wyvern, right? Because not all dragons have arms and legs.
Oh, you might actually get a wyvern. Oh.
Yeah, because Eastern dragon has arms.
Yeah. Yeah, wyverns aren't typically well loved in a lot of series.
Yeah. I mean, wyverns are usually smaller, but if you got a serpentine wyvern, then I think that would be the cross. Can't think off the top of my head one that's like that. But I'm sure one of the many dragon buffs in our chat let me tell you, when we saw Loki, I had like 6 names shot. This looks like this dragon. I'm like, I'm sure it does. I'm sure.
Talking to them like they're a little bit autistic. I'm sure it does, buddy. Par, it looks like this. It looks like this. Okay, dude. What, do you have a book about it? Damn, Par. Jesus Christ, man.
I'm not
Chill.
gonna lie, bro. What would you call it's dragon autism? There's train autism, there's truck autism. I have some of that too. There's no shame in it. All I'm saying is that there was like 6 of you guys that threw out like 15 syllable names expecting me. All right, my bad. Mostly guys throwing out these 15 syllable names out here on the drop of it. As soon as I got to dragon, Lokia, Jafargus, I'm like, bro, can't at this point just send me the link and get banned off of the auto banner, and I'll click the link that way. Actually, I don't think YouTube lets that happen. On Twitch, that would be the case, but I'd rather that, bro. But and then the one I ended up reading was the fairy tale dragon, right? The Logia one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cool one. That one was cool.
Cool one. So the kids fall off. They land on Luffy's new ability, the tummy cracker.
No way.
Gum tummy cracker. Ooh, that's. Yeah, hey, I mean they're kids, I guess. They don't know what they don't know what rice crackers are, but they know about tummies though. So.
I like TC Gum Rice Cracker Belly.
Yeah, that makes more sense. I mean, that's what it translates to. So it's like.
Yeah, and it's a rice cracker, and it's his belly versus Viz going with the tummy cracker. Crackers aren't always that, but a rice cracker, yeah.
Maybe I got it. Stephen Paul thinks that nobody in America knows what a rice cracker is, so he just said, let's just do tummy cracker instead.
Was this 1994?
Maybe.
It's crazy.
I mean, to be fair, I think rice crackers are effing disgusting.
I mean, that's because they're like for old people, no? Or you're supposed to like have them with other things. All right. Well, bodybuilders aren't known for their palatable tastes. Like,
I mean, all right. You asked, I told. I mean, I don't know what you want from me, Par.
Maybe don't follow the recommendations of a bodybuilder's like, this is great. Yeah, you're starving. No, not starving yourself, but you're hitting the macros, right?
Yeah, it hits the macros. Yeah. My cousin used to eat them all the time, and I used to eat one with him, and I was like, man, it's not worth it, dude.
Not worth it.
It is not worth. So, yeah, the kids are now saved. They're good. Somers' thorns are not doing anything to Luffy, mind you. He just says, you guys are poking me, and that's pretty much it. So off rip, I'm already expecting St. Somers to just get mollywopped by Luffy, not even care about the thorns at all. Sad stuff, really. And then we see that they actually landed on top of Loki. He says, listen up, once we're up there, I need you to get off my back. It'll prevent me from fighting. They just started falling out of nowhere. Good thing we were here. It's not a good thing. I'm a destroyer. I won't guarantee that anyone survives. Now here we go. We see that awakenings are just flying left and right. So we see snow and thunder. I wonder if that's from Ragnar or Loki. It could be both, right? I think people like the idea that it's both of them doing it. But, Ragnar obviously was the one with the ice powers. Ragnar also had the lightning. We don't know what Loki can do yet. Dragons, mythology, and fantasy in general, they typically have a myriad of powers, so that's why I say it could be both. I think an ice dragon would be pretty sick. But we also see that Luffy's awakening is taking place as well because everything is bouncing up and down. Everything is rubberized. And that is when Yarl starts his impressive speech yet again. He just does not stop. He feels like a grandpa telling World War I stories. He's talking about thunder, snow, the sun god. Emu's listening to all of this in dead silence. And we have the reveal of Loki, Luffy, and Ragnar. Luffy, I'm not going to lie. I feel like Oda's team kind of fumbled the Luffy design here. He's not in his ELBAPH fit. For some reason, he has his Wano shirt on. People often say, go back to Egghead. It's the same thing. He didn't use his Egghead outfit. Yes, true. But at least in Egghead, we saw him take off his shirt. And then the next time he spawned in, he also didn't have a shirt on. But here, it's like literally his Wano shirt. So I feel like it's a bit of a mistake. Considering the last 2 times he used Gear 5th, he did have his ELBAPH fit on. He had the horns against Copacabana. That's the one that everybody remembers. And then before that, Luffy fought Roto's pets. And at that time, he also had on the ELBAPH fit that merged with his head, where he had the horns and the cape and everything. So this seems like one of those volume mistakes, which is kind of crazy considering this is the focal point.
I said something silly the last time. I was like, "Oh, he just auto turns into it. He doesn't." And Bonnie is an example too of like you can have other outfits. You know what I mean? Separately, and like I think that would be good. I feel like that's a good thing to have the outfits change. It makes ELBAPH feel like ELBAPH. You look at a panel, you look at a scene, you know where it is without even, you know, you already know what Luffy that is.
Yeah,
That being
makes
said,
it feel unique.
The Loki thing, I just feel like there's nothing that can take away from how epic Loki is. Loki just I think he broke for the first time ever. I think breaking expectations on a metric I think that people didn't even know was possible. You know what I mean? Like, is he strong? Sure. I think that was a debatable thing that a lot of people didn't know how strong, how weak, whatever it is, top 30, where he lands. Um, but I don't think it was ever a question of how big. And that is a mind blowing thing. I saw Brago's short for his reaction, and him similar to me, uh, instantly was like, "This is bigger than Zunisha," which I was joking with Fiso again about this. Because of the translation. You remember that translation of like, oh, don't worry, I'll jump up there. And the thing is, like, the word could have been jump or fly. Like, colloquially, it meant
Yeah.
both, right? It just mattered of context. And so now you see this dragon, you're like, oh, he flew. Brother, he could have jumped. Like, with how big he is, he could have maybe just jumped. We don't actually, like, we didn't see it, but, like, uh, guys, Zunisha doesn't need to fly. That's the reality. Zunisha could just walk like to most places that you couldn't even think of. And with how big he is, one swing of the wing, and I think you create a world-ending tidal wave. Like if Loki actually off the ground just flapped his wings with how big he is, I genuinely think that Winter's Island or whatever island was next door would feel it. I feel like that might re-drown Kid. If Kid made it to the surface and Loki just went like this miles away, I think Kid dies again. Like that's how big and massive he is.
I just had an
What?
idea.
Okay.
The reason why Loki and Luffy relate isn't because they were changing Luffy's shirt back to his Wano clothes.
The fighting Kid. We talked about this. He's silly
Yes,
Billy,
they
bro.
went to go pick up Kid. No, 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 no. You gotta imagine Luffy and Loki, they have a really good observation hockey. I think they felt Kid's presence.
Oh, they felt it.
Yeah, remember how Luffy said he felt the scream of a man the minute he arrived here in ELBAPH, and that was Loki? I think it's the same thing. They felt Kid's presence. They're like, oh my god, a man is screaming out in the ocean right now. And it's Kid.
Hey, I mean, if that's what you believe, then that's what you believe. I I don't know what where I think Kid's moment to show up in the story has gone past. Like like this is my same problem with Usopp is once we introduce certain things, it's like guys stop asking for Usopp. What is
Oh
Usopp supposed to
no!
do? Like, guys, be for real right now. Emu's here, and Loki's a Zunisha dragon. What do you want Usopp to do? That like, yeah, he's gonna get a moment, sure. Like, oh, Loki gets hit with Sea Stone, which is the weakness, right? We're at the end of the chapter. We could talk about it. The reality is that Loki's so big that Oda maxed out a weakness that we kind of never really recognized because when we're talking about Zoans, especially mythical Zoans, we don't reckon with the part of the sea stone thing. And the reason we don't is because of the combative nature of these characters, right? Kaido isn't going to be stopped by Sea Stone because he's so fast and he has future sight. So if someone shot Sea Stone at him, he has future sight, he can dodge. He's also like super durable. I don't even know if you could pierce his skin. Like that's another aspect of the defense. And he's Kaido. He's super fast. I would even say in his dragon form. But then on the flip side, you have Orochi. Orochi also had a mythical Zoan, and look what happened to him. He got hit with the Sea Stone thing, and he could not dodge, and that put him. He had to bend the knee to Hiyori, who was so pitiful that she couldn't even slay Orochi herself, and yet Orochi still could not do anything against Hiyori. And that is where Loki should be at. He should not be in this form. He should not be where Kaido is. There's just no way that at this size, Future Sight can help you. There's no way. There's absolutely, you can't have Future Sight focus on the island. That's just not a thing. Like, and if it is a thing, God help the series, because then Loki's the new main character. He's now every villain that you know combined into a main character who's on our side. Everything that Loki said about being the god of destruction, Nika, no, he is. I don't know who Luffy is anymore. My guy barely knows Future Sight. This guy has island-sized Future Sight. No, stop. That's crazy. And then on top of that, he should not. Guys, if Loki is also as fast as a top tier combatant in this form, we're just not reading manga panels anymore. We're gonna be seeing some ridiculous. Maybe we saw this in Fairy Tail where the dragons were doing this shit, but that's what. How is Zoro supposed to fight? How is anybody? How is Kizaru? What are you supposed to do? So that's where it's Oda maxed out on the weakness, where you touch this guy with Sea Stone just a little bit, and he's down. And I think that's the likely situation.
People are saying you need big Sea Stone to put him down, though.
No.
How do you feel about that?
No, I don't think so. I just like, because Wano was diluted, but the reality was if that Sea Stone, that nail, was a full Sea Stone, that would take out Luffy, that would take out Kaido, that would take out Orochi. The reality is that Orochi even resisted that one, but it was because that was just a nail. So I the way I see it is it's a cuff. It's Smoker's Jute. That's the fall, the shortfall of being this powerful. The thing is we're not dealing with Mochi. You're not dealing with like a paramecia that you can morph around it, right? Because if Katakuri didn't have Future Sight, he would have the same problem. He could not use his Mochi the way he was, that freely with Sea Stone in existence, unless he had Future Sight. And Logias have the same thing, except they're just Logias. Zoans always had that weakness. The difference is that they were always combatants that were perfectly fine with being able to dodge it. You cannot expect that from this. Now, does that carry off the hybrid? I don't think so. I honestly don't hope it does. But I will say that now I think the most logical thing is that Shanks just used Sea Stone to beat him. And whether or not Shanks could beat him outright, I'm not going to even debate you on that. I don't even want to think about his crew fighting. I don't want to even entertain that conversation because it hurts a little bit to think about it. Thinking that Shanks couldn't beat somebody. But I'm there too, guys. I think that when Loki goes, that guy's such a coward, I literally think that Shanks is just like, talk to Lucky Roo, talk to someone who's like, hey, that's a devil fruit, right? And then there's like, yeah, that's devil fruit. And then Loki's like acting all arrogant. And it's like, what are you going to do now, Shanks? And Shanks is like, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, they say, and just drops a Sea Stone on him. And then Loki's just like, and just fucking Team Rockets himself down to the ground. So that's the way I see it.
It could happen. I mean, the thing is that, he's a pirate. He doesn't have to play fair. There's no code of honor.
Why would he? Yeah.
Yeah. I say, if you win, you win.
I mean, Shanks's crew showed that they're not even like the honorable thing. Like, there's a different metric for it, right? They can get hit in the face with alcohol, whatever. Losing there and winning isn't honorable. It's weak to him. And on the flip side, fighting Barto up front wasn't and doing what they did, that was the way they tested him. That was the honorable thing. But then when Barto was with his back turned, shit talking them, it was justified for Shanks to just take him out. Or not even Shanks, Yasop to unilaterally do that, right? So I would argue that I don't think that Shanks grew up in a way of being like, yeah, I'm just gonna make my life harder, right? He's not like Roger. Roger would be the one be like, I want to fight this. Whitebeard, or no, not Whitebeard. Odin would be like, I want to fight this. Not all the characters are like that. Whitebeard's kind of not like that. Whitebeard's kind of like, if I'm challenged, I'll challenge you. But he's not like, and then not like Kaido. Like, Kaido would challenge you, right? Um, but you know, man, every time I think about like these Yonko, and then I look at Loki, I'm just like, if one of them were to fight him outright, could they win? And I think they
Hey,
all would
size
just be
isn't
like,
everything. You know, maybe because Loki's so big, we nerf him and have it to where he takes 5 times the amount of damage.
Big Mom has that. Oh, on that note, I just want to add one thing on the Big Mom thing. Big Mom has that weird punch that like auto took Luffy out of Gear 4, and we have no idea what that's about. We've never seen that again. It was one hit. We've never seen Luffy tap out of Gear 4 like that. It was a punch clash, and then he got fizzled out. And I think Luffy even acknowledges like not the punch was crazy, but like, damn, like what happened? Something like that. And maybe Big Mom has like a Sea Stone punch. Like if she could like mimic the soul of Sea Stone, maybe she has a counter. But like Sai was saying, I think I like the idea that if Oda's reading Kagurabachi, all I'm gonna say is there's game mechanics we could put in here, and a constant debuff is perfect. If he's not susceptible to Sea Stone, he needs a constant debuff, like this being growing pains, which we talked at the beginning of the stream. But
Yeah, and Part knows all about
something
growing
like that.
pains, so
Yeah. I grew so big, famously 6'8" in a day. Growth
yeah, you know
spurt.
how he is.
Ask my mama.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Emu right now, like, I think Emu is stronger. I think the regen is just so powerful. I feel like Emu obviously have seen this before, so he should theoretically be able to fight against Loki and Luffy really well. But it's just hard to imagine because they're in Gunko's body. I think that's the main caveat. Just they're fighting an uphill battle. Right now,
Mhm.
though, I do like the idea. You know, we talked about like, oh, Emu whipped out the shotgun. I would love it if Emu whipped out something else too. Like more and more weapons. And the thing is, you know, the shotgun sounds funny, and generally in anime, it's like, oh, whatever, it's a shotgun, blah, blah. Unless it's like a war anime, it doesn't really matter. You know, usually guns are kind of nerfed. Like in One Piece, we have never feared a gun before. Like we've never said, oh my god, that Marine has a rifle. Like, holy
Right.
shit, this guy has this. Never happened. But we gotta remember that gun, dude. That gun that Emu had, it actually one-tapped Brogy's entire wrist. Like, it blew it off. So, while it seems like a meme, like, that gun is really strong. Like, it's possibly like a top 10 damage output ability. So, who's to say that he doesn't just spawn a ballista? Oh, that'd be sick. He spawns a ballista and shoots Loki down. That would be cool. Or maybe he spawns the serpent from the mural. Because, I mean, Loki's so big that you need somebody his size to fight him. I generally think that's how it goes. So I say, why not bring in the serpent from the mural or something else that size and just fight Loki?
Yeah. Again, it's a weird thing to like rely on something like that, you know? Like when Emu's here, I feel like when we got something like that with the Gorosei, right? It feels like assemble the Ginyu force, assemble the Gorosei, get them in their yokai form, all five of them together. I think like at a battle of size and thing, I think the all five Gorosei should be able to do something to Loki. But like you're saying, like, you know, you add something mythical like that, like a mural serpent. Sure. Is now the time to do something like that? Yeah, it would be. It also comes down to like what Emu's plan is, right? Because Emu's whole thing was like, I'm leaving ELBAPH. They're never gonna be on my side. So like, should they just like straight up eradicate it? And that being said, like Loki's been transformed for not I'm not gonna say a long time, but like I'm surprised we hadn't gotten like a sense of Emu. I would be surprised if we start next chapter without Emu having attention here. That'll blow my mind. But it also blows my mind that Emu's first prerogative wasn't to snuff out who killed Harold, and the Holy Knights found out or knew that Loki did it. So, or one way or the other. And the other part is Luffy. Like Luffy being Nika, it's like I'm so surprised that Emu, yeah, like the Jarl stuff is on autopilot. The kids are on autopilot. Like Emu being stuck at Brook, that's where we're at, and I'm just confused because it's like, can Emu just summon something to deal with Loki, but then get stopped at Brook? That's kind of wonky, right?
It's wonky. There's no two ways about it, Par. We can't like lick your nutsack and make you feel better here. But
All right, that's what I'm asking.
No, it does feel
That's
wonky,
what I mean,
but
brother.
at least we can kind of cope and say that it's a emotional fight, right?
Yeah,
Between
yeah, we
Brook and
can say that.
Gunko.
Like,
Yeah, we
I
can just
hope,
go and say that.
I hope that what's it called? That Gunko is providing resistance. Like I hope we can like not assume, not theorize. I hope we can positively confirm that the reason why Emu's struggling against Brook, which is even if Gunko said that, guys, like unless the volume changes it and takes out that Conquers Hockey, or let's just say it's not Conquers Hockey. Let's just say it's what people think, and it's like advanced armament, black hockey clashing. Brooks still is not countering it with anything. He has no hockey. He isn't even known for these kinds of fights. He lost to Ryuma, bro. He lost to a corpse. He's not known for his strength. He's known for like the swift arrow that freezes everyone without them noticing, the hums, and then dealing with souls. He's not known to tank hits like that. So even if Gunko's provide, unless we get like a scene where we get like an inner working of Gunko's mind and Emu's like controlling Gunko like a Gundam, and then you just see Gunko like wrestling Emu back, and it's like physically, like I just don't get that scene. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm the one with autism, but like that one just does not fly well with my brain. And even if we get the positive affirmation that like, no, Gunko's been making this fight real hard for Emu. It's like, but Brook, Brook, guys, come on. Not even Jinbei and Brook. At least Gunko fought Jinbei and Brook, clocked their ass before.
Yeah.
Only to stop at Brook now with hockey. What? It's crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, the thing about that too is that we don't know how the fight's going. We're assuming they're still fighting, but there is a high chance that the fight's over.
Yeah, that's true. That is fair. It's just a question of now if Emu starts off next chapter and is already like here, like dealing with this, then like I'm fine. You know what I mean? But that's not what it. I feel like Emu should have already been here. Like Loki shouldn't have been able to do shit. Like Loki killed Harold, bro. Like, and Emu was like, "Ain't none of my Holy Knights coming back here for the next 14 years, because they'll die." Then sends the Holy Knights willy nilly, comes at here, crashes out at them for being too slow. Loki's not released yet. Loki's now released, has been released for a minute now. Literally, while Gunko was here, Loki slammed the hammer against a tree, shot lightning through 3 realms. No reaction, no response, and gets stalled at Brook. If that's what it is, then that's what it is, fine. But it's kind of like it's not just Loki now. It's Luffy. Like Luffy's Nika. Like shouldn't Luffy and like why was it that the Davy clan had more priority than Luffy Loki? You know what I mean? Instant Domi Reversi rocks, the strongest being on the thing. Go kill the peasant, like the literal like villagers and the toddler. And versus the 2 gods. Killingham, what's going on? And Killingham hasn't done anything. I took over Gunko. Sommers is just hitting himself, shooting himself in the foot left and right, and then Emu is stopped at Brook. Like this isn't a good portrayal in terms of like you remember when we got Blackbeard and Blackbeard was out here on multiple islands and he was succeeding on every island. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, this machine isn't just well oiled. There's the people are jizzing on this one. This one's so goddamn lubricated. Who knows how far and how people were like, it doesn't just stop at the main story. They're going to be in every cover story. That's how well oiled Blackbeard was, and I missed that. And I want Emu to be like that too. You remember when we were at Egghead and the Gorosei revealed that they had telepathy, and me and you memed them to hell for not having comms?
Yeah.
That's what's weird about it. It's like I just need them to acknowledge Luffy Loki once. And Emu needs to be that person because Emu barred ELBAPH for 14 years for Loki, not just Luffy. And remember when he first got the Holy Knights coming here, the whole question was like, why now? Why right when Luffy shows up? Why couldn't they do this yesterday? Why couldn't they do this a week ago? And then they like, oh no, we know they're here. And then they're just like ignored them. And it's like, what? What? If you guys realize if you dealt with Luffy, then you would be scot-free for the rest of the arc. Or if you know Luffy's there and you know you can't handle him, then just do the stuff quickly. Don't do this game shit. And it's like, if you're gonna do the game stuff, then back it up. But now we know they can't back it up because they don't have Conqueror's Haki even. Like it's kind of just and even it's gone further than that. It's gone to the part that their regen merchant is no longer regen merchant. They're on the precipice of dying. And we know that Loki literally killed his own dad, who is stronger than all of them. He can do that. Bop, bop, bop. 3 hits. That's all he needs, guys. All the Holy Knights, including Gunko, can all die in 3 hits. That's it. That's all he needs. And then we also have Luffy, who can maybe throw out those hits too. And we also have Zoro, who's practicing those hits. And we also have Sanji, who maybe smells like he can hit like that. So we don't know. And maybe Scopper just gets up. Maybe Sommers does the damnedest thing, and he puts the death flag over him and starts strangling Colin with his bare hands. And then Scopper just goes demon mode out of nowhere, right? Like there are many ways that these guys can die, and there's just not like urgency. There's none of it. And I don't think Emu can can come back from stopping at Brook and then summoning like Jormungandr and then just eating Loki and then 5 Gorosei come in and what they get mogged again. It's just I don't know. Like I think my favorite thing that I thought of in seconds was just bring Uranus, have it charge up over the island and like that would be the countdown and then be like, you guys have to evacuate or everything's gone. And then like that forces them to leave the kids. And everyone's just like, because wasn't Scopper? Scopper was like, if ELBAPH's still here or something, then I'll see you guys. He says something like that. And so I was thinking like, damn, like at this point, Emu just needs to pull out whatever happened to Lucia and just because then Loki can't do anything against that. You know, I don't think that. I don't think Loki just beats laser cannon because he's big dragon now. So
there is a really popular theory going around right now, though, that Loki will get Domi Reversi'd.
Oh yeah, there's that, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, there's still a lot of like things about that we don't know, right? Like, does it work on Delphord users? Is it the homeland thing? Like, we have no clue. And then, you know, the way they talked about Loki's Delphord, it seemed like a counter, so maybe it's like unaffected, possibly. A lot of caveats there.
Yeah, it's not as simple. It's not as simple as we'd want it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck, Emu, man. I'm wishing you the best. I hope we leave this island and you look like an absolute monster.
Yeah.
We're like actually cheering on the bad guy now. We're like, come on, do something, please. Please don't just be a punching bag.
Do you again? I keep saying, do you remember, as if you weren't there for it in Egghead before the Gorosei, the 5 Gorosei, and I was saying that we were talking about the chessboard. The chessboard is not balanced. They need reinforcements, and before we even got the summoning circles, you and I were like, Holy Knights probably, like that's a level of it. Like maybe the Marines, like we don't really know, right? Like the Marine, like admirals or something. I forget what we're talking about. But then it was the circles, and then they're like, oh, Holy Knights are coming. It's the goddamn Gorosei, and we were like, oh my god, it's no longer that the field is unbalanced on the Luffy side, it's unbalanced on the Gorosei side. And then the Gorosei showed us that no, it was not ever really balanced on their side, and Luffy doesn't know what's happening. In fact, it was his lack of knowledge that kept them alive. And the thin line between them being alive and dead was just him knowing how to use Conqueror's hockey well, which is must have been terrifying, right? When what's his face? Mars? Was it no Workery? Workery got slammed by Luffy and it seemed like he was Conqueror's hockey and he just took it. Maybe when he stood still, he thought he was dead. Maybe he thought he died. Remember, he was just like
We need
still
the
for like two
POV from
panels.
Markety. Like there's like lights and angels singing in the background. It's like, whoa, is
Yeah,
this heaven?
yeah. And I remember like talking about it, like, oh, like we need to balance the playing field. Oh my God, we got the Gorosei, and then I'm being disappointed. And I feel like we're in the same bucket right now, and it's really scary because yes, I'm happy about Sommers, but it's not because of his powers, it's because of his personality. And his personality is not beating Loki right now. You know what I mean? Like, imagine that. Sommers like, Loki, baby, I heard you like torturing kids. Loki's like, hey, brother. You know,
My
like, that's not
guy.
happening. You know, like, we obviously know what side Loki's on. So, um, we can't even front as if that's going to be a possibility. So it is one of those things that we're just sitting and waiting.
We didn't see any of the Straw Hats. I think all the Straw Hats could be Domi Reversi'd, and that could even the playing field.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
that'd be nice.
that'd be a good one, guys. Yeah,
I feel like
Domi
people
Reversi in it.
are getting tired of Domi Reversi.
Yeah, that I was literally Domi Reversi. It's not even it itself, it's that we don't know how it works, and we saw the likes of rocks get flipped, and it's so then we're just like anybody, and if we don't have any restrictive nature, we still don't have any restrictions on it. All we know is that if you take Garp and Roger and you throw in mass, you can not kill him, which they were trying to do because they gave up on trying to save him per se, but you can counter the curse and he'll be fine and he just can't get up and fight again. But like that, it's the lack of knowing, and we've been there before. We've been there with One Piece where Oda holds on to something a little too long, and I feel like Dami Reversi's there. And separately, um it doesn't make sense for Loki at this point. I don't know, I just feel like it's just something weird. And then even if he did that, it's not like it works on Ragnar. I feel like that'd be crazy if you could flip a hammer. But then on the other side, it's like yeah, it's just not. It's too convenient. It's a plot device, kind of.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
without
it's
it,
just too. Hey, you're bad now.
yeah,
Yeah.
without a double side to it, like without us being able to counter it, it's just a plot device. It's like, are you too powerful for the story? Well, hey, here's a flip of a change of a new leaf, and now you're just on the other side, right? Like it's kind of just super not like, I don't know. I don't even know how
Not
to phrase
poggers is a
it.
good way to put it.
Yeah, sure, not poggers.
Not poggers. But with that being said, that is it for today's video. We really enjoyed the reveal. Overall, solid
Yeah,
chapter. I think
yeah.
you started like tearing up during your live reaction. It was so funny.
Oh, you saw that? Yeah, dude. I
Yeah,
had to
Par was
walk
like in
away.
the feels with this one. I was just laughing. I was like, ha 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 ha.
Yeah, it's just it's like this chapter felt like Vinland Saga in that that series does m- uh paths of maturity really well, and then um Parenthood. I think it does parenthood really well in a mature sense. It's not like, oh, happy, whatever, good parents, whatever. No, it's everything. And like this chapter did that so well. Like I was sad for the kids who thought that God was gonna smite them for the. And I made a joke. I was just like, don't tell me it's one of, because these parents are real. It's like, God, your Christian God is gonna, your Muslim God is gonna smite you for not finishing your plate. So I've heard that. That's crazy and it's sad. So like I connected on that. That's crazy. And then they flipped it, and then the parents are like sort of justified, and they're just like out there watching their kids die, and it's like, what do they do? And then when Ripley jumped in front, and that like broke, everybody's like, you know what? We're all gonna die. I was like, dude, this is fucking crazy. And then like again, Oda had me holding back the tears with Sommers, because every time I got mad, and then he just like broke it when Johanna was just like, at least you guys have parents, bro. And I was like, fuck. I was out here bashing these parents for saying this shit. And it's like they were just trying to be parent. Everyone's just trying at that. They weren't, it's not like you need to call CPS. They tried. They wanted their kid to be safe, eat food. And Johanna's out here just like, yeah, no one did that for me. And I'm like, fuck. Oh, dude, that's so hard. That's so hard. Like hard as in like for me, not hard as in like gangster, but like, and then
I think we all know what you meant there, Par.
Yeah, and then Ange shows up, and then Ange is a weird one for me to process, because I was like, the fuck, because it was right after, and I was like, oh, this is wholesome too, but like, why is she? What? And then I was thinking about you, and I'm like, Sai is gonna love this, or no, he's gonna hate this. What is happening here? And then that's when I was like,
what emotion do I feel, Sai? Tell me.
Too. Yeah, no, I mean, if I ever ask Sai how to feel, end me. End me.
Sai, Ange appeared. What's the command, Captain?
Yeah. Which direction are we sailing, sir? Oh God, that's a good one.
That's kind of funny. I feel like that is kind of true for like the Ange theory. It's like Sai.
Yeah.
How does this affect it? Please.
How should I feel about this one?
What's the marching orders?
Where should I put my money? Should we do a Kalshi bet? At this rate, you should still make a Kalshi bet for this. Is Ange an evil monster? Oh God.
It's funny because like before this chapter, I did hold a poll, and a lot of people thought that she was a traitor. A lot of people believe in it. I think like 54% of voters said that she's a traitor.
Damn. Off of this, damn. That's
off of the last
Sai?
chapter, not this one.
Oh, rehold it, because this is a different beast. I want to see the fall off, because then whatever percent you have, that's a W. In my opinion, like you said, 54%. So I would say right now, let's just assume that not everybody watches these videos for whatever reason.
Whatever reason.
I put it like
crazy people, let me tell you.
24, 20. No, let's put a minority. Let's put it 18%, like minority number.
18?
Less of. Yeah, like 24 would have been half of like 50, but less. But I think a little bit less, because not as much people watch this than your entire viewer like responding. So I think 18, you put it there. And that 18, if you get that, that's a full W. That's an 18% of those are people jumping on your ship, bro. Those are people that are like
ride or die.
Yeah. Like, because I don't want to sway anyone's votes, but for the vote, I would be like, yeah, no, she's evil. I will. So
you still firmly believe that she's evil?
I
like if I held a gun to your head, and I say, you gotta pick right now.
Yeah, the thing is, after the Mother Caramel thing, it went from you remember what you said about the logic thing? Logic doesn't matter here anymore. For me, it's a little bit like that. After the Mother Caramel thing, I want her to be evil. I think it's better for the story if we use her character like that rather than just constantly bring her up and her to be unfortunately the butt of oh my god, she's a villain because she had today all the kids draw the night. No, it's like, no, it would be interesting if it was unintentionally a coincidence that it worked out in her favor, like an evil slight buggy that was just waiting for the moment. And like the caramel like disciple idea, or if it's separate, whatever. I want it.
That's so
So
many fucking
because I want
variations to that
it,
theory, man.
yeah, no, I'll
There's
think
so
of
many
night
ways it
and
could
day.
work.
I want it, and so I'm at like because you hard if it was someone else who's captaining the ship and wasn't as convincing, um, maybe my want and that convincing wouldn't meet into me voting yes. But yeah, I'm vote the two meet in the middle. I want this. I want Ange to be the babysitter that turns on them at marriage law. I want that so bad because that would be so crazy. All of them are like, Ange is a good person. Saul's like, Nani? Oh my god, dude! The faces, the reveals, the kids telling us she's been beating us. Like, oh, that'd be so fucking crazy, dude.
You know how
We
funny it would
find out
be if
what?
we got to the whole Ange reveal, and let's say Zoro says, where's Ange? You know, the battle is over. And then Saul says, who's Ange? And they're like, the librarian. And then Saul says, there was never a librarian.
Yeah, that would be. I would have to reread. I would get fooled by that too. I'd be like, huh? What do you mean? Dude, that's a like a Death Note type of reveal, whatever. You go back and everything was just like the wind. Who saved Johanna? We just see it was like a deer. Like it wasn't
Oh,
actually.
yeah, yeah. She's just, she's vanishing from our memories.
Yeah, yeah. Like Johanna has a pet animal. That's what saved her instead. And we just thought it was Ange the entire time. Why? Because we were in Killingham's nightmare. Ange was the nightmare.
Oh.
We did it. Oh, that'd be
Oh,
crazy.
well, with how crazy Killingham's like nightmare and dreams are, he could just dream of like a sleeper agent, right?
Yo, that'd be
Like what would it?
insane.
Yeah, like Ange just disappears by the end of the arc, and the reason why like she did the nightmare assignment isn't because she's like an actual like bad person, but she's a dream agent that Killingham created and planted in ELBAPH all these years.
Dude, dude. See, I want this. Will that happen? No. But I
What?
want that. I want that so bad. If he infiltrated with Anne, we don't know Anne's backstory. She's literally This is this. Okay, you know what we're doing right now? This is like the recycle cur level. This is recycle cur
It's
level.
not
Trust
recycle
me,
curl level
guys.
yet.
After the
It's not
like
that far.
that, no, I'm saying the Ange thing is separate, right? But if we go to the level that like, oh, okay, yeah, if we find like a Jimmy Neutron level reference, like, guys, Oda's referencing this famous cartoon, and it's like, boom, boom, there we go, or anime, and Killingham inserted Ange. He like dreamed up of like what his nightmare of a giant would be. That's Ange. Ange goes in. They accept that Hiredin's all about uniting all. You're a giant, just like any of us. They never like tested her strength. They never asked how old she was. Anything like that. Maybe that's why she can run so fast. We know that giants can't jump. Hiredin said that himself, basically, when he saw Zoro jumping on top of the giants. So like, mate, and Killingham being with Ange and not affecting her. Yo, if it was a nightmare this entire time, I might. That would be beyond masterclass. That would be like god
I'm
tier.
not saying Oda should take notes from us. I'm just saying that Oda shouldn't ignore our ideas.
I'm just
So
saying if
stupid.
Oda has money to throw at us to make a spin-off, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if
It's
Oda
it's like
can
we could do like a One Piece Medulo.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I haven't read that, but like now it's just like perfect spot. Put us in there. Put us in, coach. Get us in there.
Come on,
If
coach. You
Oda
see our
leads
sheet? You see
Ange,
our hit ratio?
dude, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I genuinely think that maybe it's not directly from you, but Otis smells the temperature on Ange and is keeping her hot. You know what I'm saying? Every 8 chapters. Oh, did I talk about Ange yet? Oh, time to bring up Ange. He has like a quota. He checks every volume. He's just like, I didn't mention Ange yet. Let me put her in. Oh, let me just lead them on a little bit more.
Yeah,
Feel
let me
like,
just let me lead them on just a little bit. Yeah,
yeah,
you gotta throw them off the scent. I'm telling you guys, Oda does that with all the traders, man.
yeah, yeah. Hey. Why wouldn't he? He did that with Frankie. He did it with Frankie. He did that with CP9. CP9 was made from the desire for Oda to throw us off the trail. He didn't want us to know that Frankie would be the shipwright. So what did he do? He made a bunch of shipwrights. And then when he made all the shipwrights, he was like, "Hey, this guy with the pigeon looks like a good villain." And then that's how it happened. That's literally it. Verbatim. I'm not making that up. That is interview and I think even in SBS. But no. That's a magazine interview Oda had, like an Oda note, one of those things that like Oda writes himself. But
Yeah,
yeah,
he said, "I
crazy.
love this guy's design. Let's just go with it, man."
Yeah, yeah. Oda's the king of throwing us off the trail, and the question is Ange one of those trails? Is she the pathway to enlightenment? Find out next time on
Heaven or hell.
Short.
Where's this theory going? Heaven or hell?
Perfect.
And catch y'all
Um,
later. Peace out, guys.
Peace.